My name is
Yes.
That's what we thought. Okay, we're here. Can you believe 2 years ago, we decided to have a strategic plan for this community? What we're gonna do tonight is we've asked ALC to come back and go through this with us. See what we feel like we've accomplished, what we need to still accomplish, what we want to take off the priorities, what we want to put on as priorities. And the ALC will do a thorough job for us as always, so I'm gonna turn it completely over to John. John, you starting?
I'm
just gonna keep John out front. How about that?
For those unfamiliar with me, my name is John Vance with Community Nonprofit Advisor with KLC. I've been in the role for about 1.5 years now. Unfortunately, I missed out on the 2023 work plan from the all first created, and that Sarah was a part of it. She was here with people. But I helped out with that on quite a bit. Regrets not being able to help. I got some other issues to take care of. So we're happy to be here. You know, like Mary said, go through the previous plan, go through those priorities and initiatives that you all sent out back then. Figure out what I can achieve, what has not been achieved, what's still a priority for you all, what may need to be added, what may need to be taken off, and how to flush that. There, I don't know if you had anything that you wanted to do.
I'm so excited to be back here. No disrespect to Tad, I love him dearly, but I'm glad to be here in his stead. And be working with you all again. I will actually be taking notes in Microsoft Word, and so if I just miss something or I don't hear you, I'll just ask if you could listen. Everything possible. So,
And we do have a reminder to the public that we did not have a strict only until 2 years ago, we felt that we needed to know where we were going and look at projects that have been on the shelf for numerous years, and we want to get them off the shelf or get them off our itinerary. So that's the reason for this one. We all did this job first.
All right, so if we'd like to get started looking at a little bit of this plan, the top 4 goals for 2023. You all along with us identified top 4 being housing, function, infrastructure, and quality of life. With those 2 years, how is that more? How does that change? Is it any different? Just something that needs to be added, actually taken off of that?
Is that including the current and ongoing projects or projects for that?
That's just the
We understand.
top 4 goals. That's kind of the overarching thing for the plan. Those top 4, and those projects have helped within those areas.
And how's the commission feel about the new nose as the top 4? You want to change it? You want to add anything? We're working on all of those. You know, we have been this past 2 years focusing on a lot of infrastructure, and I hope it was as we bring this up to knowledge that we're focusing on quality of life and bringing some things to the community that are being asked to be brought our direction. So John, does that include, can we make a comment on your current and ongoing projects, or?
Of course, feel free to go ahead and talk about those current ongoing, which ones have you been able to complete in the past 2 years, which ones are ongoing still?
The commission helped me with this, okay, we completed a town branch stormwater project. We have completed Fulton Road. We'll be having, ribbon cutting for that on August the 27th at 10:30. We have continuing work, you right, Shannon, on Lincoln Street East.
Yes,
That's our east.
the west side is complete. The east side, we hope to start on the east side, a bit, after the first of the year. By then, we are hoping that, all the stuff is done with demolition, those folks that live there being moved to new locations and things like that, and Habitat should be able to start after the first of the year.
We're looking at that project to be completed here in 2026.
2027, probably. Building 6 houses is going, building 6 houses, finding 6 families those, each house on the west side of Lincoln Street cost Habitat about $110,000 to $118,000. On the east side, each house is going to cost between $145,000 and $165,000.
Thank you for that. So it looks like we've accomplished Fulton Road extension. Lincoln is still a work in progress. One side is complete, and the high side will be complete with the completion date of November 1st. And at the rate you're going, it may be completed sooner. So it looks like we've taken care of our roads quite a bit during this time. 7th Street project is in design right now with Palmer.
So we're currently ranked with that will end December of 27. So that's kind of designed this year. It'll be bid and start work for next year and then finish 27.
All right, you all stop as we go through here. Okay, splash pad is basically completed. We'll be dedicating that, at the end of August. We're waiting to be sure before we announce the date that the contractor is cleaned up and out of the way, that we should know that soon. The parks, we have increased funding. We've, put 250,000, I believe is correct, city manager, into the humidifier.
That was just our portion.
I just 250 from us,
Put 250 in there, so
but the county does not pay for part of it.
so they paid half of their half.
Half of their half, okay. All right, then under public works, we expanded the facilities, we completed the salt building, which, Brian's been wanting for quite a while. Brian, we didn't increase personnel, we're sorry. We'll keep looking at that. EMS and fire department to be 2 separate divisions, we've done that.
And we need to include in there that we keep EMS.
Let's add that.
Under the city,
Right.
yeah, under the city.
And that meaning we are not interested in private tax.
Absolutely.
So, okay, the retaining wall on Lexington Avenue has been removed. It's been purchased by car dealership, anybody know the name of them, Chrysler or?
Absolutely.
They purchased that and they have been sent a letter to, supposed to be getting it cleaned up and looking a little better out there. So that's in process. Conversion of dilapidated properties into affordable housing. We've been working on that steadily, Diana. How many houses?
About 27, in eminent domain lawsuits we've been issued deeds and, have sold quite a few of those.
We had on the proposal thing we did June. We had how many lots we sold?
We sold Mutual Avenue to Kentucky Original Foothills. And that's still going through the plat process. Get some trees removed. And then we sold 3 parcels to Kentucky or the Habitat for Humanity. And then there was a few that didn't have any bids on, so. And that's going through the plat activity process, or,
And a lot of those are floodplain places and things like that, that we can't build, don't they can build on.
And then the opioid abatement program, Bruce and I both attended a meeting last week. And that's in process, the meetings with how to utilize those funds, and we're gonna have some decisions to make. We have about
319,000.
19,000 in, opioid abatement money right now. And I think some people, staff wise, have some ideas that we'll move on in a little bit later. But that is something that, and we never know when a check's gonna come, right, Alicia? Right. You know, one day it just shows up, it might be for 20,000. But 3 months later, maybe another one show up, and it might be 105,000. You just don't, we don't have any idea.
I've got a, idea on that, but because it's personnel, we need to discuss that in closed session.
Correct. Hang on to that idea. Okay. Okay, John, back to you, I'm sorry.
Well, of those currently ongoing projects, of course, I think we all agree there's a few that are still ongoing now. It's a 7th Street and the Lincoln Street projects. Any of those that the commission would feel need to continue to be ongoing, need to be reworked, rethought, and that need to be maybe moved on from anything like that, or there are current ongoing projects right now that should be added.
I'll say for parks, I'd be interested to just add a notation, and I'm not really sure how the commission would feel on this, or if this would be a valid item. But for increasing funding, I've brought up the concept of a penny tax. That's not something I'm saying the commission has agreed upon, but just a point of conversation, perhaps. A penny tax for parks. Just saying the discussion.
This discussion.
Discussion and how, if that's a possibility, what does it look like? Got it, got it.
As for current and ongoing projects, Town Branch, by the end of the month, the splash pad. Maybe even the public works part and essentially fire EMS. We don't need to include those as ongoing projects.
They're complete,
They're
right, John?
Yeah.
Those are,
Mhm.
so we can just take those off the list.
good, yeah.
And leave on the ones that were, is the commission feel comfortable with that? You did? Leave on the ones we're still have as ongoing, and take off the ones we included.
Maybe in replacement of the EMS fire department, separate divisions, perhaps a talking point on merged government services.
Because we do know, or we think we know, that we can save money by doing that, not just for the city, but for the county as well. So at our 5:30 meeting, we'll be doing some more discussion on that, and Bruce and Alicia will update you. So. Okay, anything else? So John, will you go over what we're gonna take off?
I've taken off the completed items of Town Branch, the Fulton Road extension, splash pad, the public works grading facilities, might be able to keep the increased personnel item. Taking off EMS and fire department to be 2 separate divisions, but then potentially adding time for talking point on merged government services. Then
And
also,
be sure it says merge services, not merge go.
and then also the retaining wall on next to that, you know.
And, the dilapidated properties is ongoing, so
Yes, that's all.
we'll all be dead and gone, they'll still be ongoing.
Anything, you'll always have the core money.
There you go. And I will be your way, you know, we do need to have some discussion with that at some point, maybe in process.
Well, the one thing that I would like to add, a good time to add is, cracking down on code enforcement. Where we have streaming and those. We're looking at those funds. It's time. I called Becky twice this week for downtown problems and we really do need a street.
I think they can sit back and block my number. If she was smart, she would.
Why, you want to say something?
Sure.
For the fire and EMS, because you're still within the strategic plan that was approved by the commission, I would think maybe I need this, I need that. But it'll stay on there. As a continued project, because we're still doing the facilities and the personnel and stuff like that. In that department, so I would caution to take one of that.
We do have the GR bid out,
Yeah.
it just went out for bid yesterday.
Yeah, there's
See you on
Yes,
the August
And that's,
27th.
I believe that's correct.
So
It's after the station one renovation, and officially station three.
That's a good idea. Everybody has to leave that on there, because that is on thing.
And some other current projects that we're working on the replacement of the Martin Luther King, bridge. That's infrastructure, that's a current project that's kind of ongoing right now.
And on that bridge, our fire apparatus exceeds the weight limit for that bridge. So they're cutting down on their response time, so they're gonna be taking off to the route to get up to like Baker and Strode in that area. So Alicia's been, working on a grant this morning to try to see if we can get some help there, but, you know, cutting down on response time is not a good thing.
all right.
Any other items?
I would say also add, Depot Street to that list. Depot Street.
That would be on page 7 under strategic areas we would add.
Yes, and these are hit throughout here.
And
Right.
Depot 3 and the fire department.
So we go phase 2 and phase 3 there. We completed phase 1, phase 2 is going to be, extending where the farmer's market backs up, Handy's basically. And stage 3 is gonna, phase 3 will be, a building one and amphitheater. So that's kind of where we are, but somebody will send us a couple $1 million, we're ready.
I know, yeah, it goes to the municipal bond.
There you go.
Need grants.
But sure, you gotta pay that back.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, Bruce, we can kind of look into more of these strategic areas now. We had 7 listening for you all back in 2023, the infrastructure, quality of life, parks and rec, housing, downtown, safe city, education, workforce training. I'm not familiar if those were in a specific order, or if those are just 7 strategic areas that you will identify. But have those changed in any way, or any of those that you don't take out, that they keep moving forward on, and we can look through the strategic recommendations of those areas throughout this bill to kind of those items as well.
Did you all think we're doing pretty well?
I think so.
I mean, I think we've come a long way. We still got a long way to go, but we have come a very long way.
One thing, the last one under downtown 5, that's a really sticking point right now.
Where is
Page 8.
you already over?
So then, here real quick, this is a refresher since this was 2020, so being set up areas. They were not listed in order by like, they were just randomly listed 1%, so. Whether it's sure. Refresh that at all.
Do you all like the order that's there, or do anything around?
I just think we need to recognize that there is no priority. That they're just there.
Projects.
Once I have more low hanging fruit than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, the narrative can say these are not, property priorities.
You're not probably.
Are there any items within each strategic area that you all have a say about whether to keep it in, take it out. They don't want big additions, things like that, maybe the infrastructure, quality of life. I know Barry, you kind of mentioned the quality of life, should probably be one of those bigger overarching.
Well, see, look, John, we have two families that have been interested in actually putting in, an entertainment center. But the cost is prohibitive for that, so, you know, we're still working on finding a place that would be suitable. There would be a city investment, it possibly could be a public-private partnership. But you all have to help us with the structure of that, but, I don't know, the quality of life is so important. I was out yesterday at, Jersey Mike's, stopped by to say welcome to the community, they did to eat. And they said, we have already fallen in love with Winchester. And, you know, they like the community itself, they like the people, they like the services. And those are the kind of things we want to bring to this community, but we have to keep up our quality of life. And I ain't been it before I die, to have a bowling alley and entertainment center and some of those things that we have not had for years in this community. And, you know, that's one of my very strong things in the album, I always run for every one of them. And maybe quality of life can merge with some of the things Hannah was talking about, the Parks and Rec and different things, but I want us to really take a deep dive next year, the rest of this year, whatever, into quality of life.
Get your checklist out.
You strike the first one out like this. And Adam, did you want to say something?
And just a note, I don't know if the only reason why I came, but it's relevant to, I think, every topic discussed thus far. Something that I've noticed from the other side of the fence is what I would love to see happen, I think would benefit quality of life and fire and anything. I would love to see you guys consider expanding the resources, personnel resources available in the planning department. We have a wonderful building inspector who is above the cuts, he's fantastic to work with. And with all the projects that we know are coming up soon, that makes me anxious how available it's going to be to help answer the questions. But the same question is going to be applicable for an entertainment center, for all sorts of things. So to make sure that we have the best funded, best staff planning zoning department we possibly can, so that we can deal with some of these big projects. It takes months to process permits and things like that. It's one more thought in the field. So, and that's not disparaging comments anyway. I think it's better than it's ever been upstairs. Or adding that on. Same thing I would say. I know where the fire marshal workload is at, but we have a great fire marshal right now. But making sure that they have all the resources that they keep doing public safety stuff.
No, we can't put kicking butt, huh? So you're basically saying we should look at enhancing our planning and zoning.
If the plan is to bring more housing in, Lincoln Street, entertainment center, all these things,
That's
we have to make sure that we've got the ample staff planning to do it. We might find location on it.
Well, that's very important.
And while we've got somebody awesome that could help maybe train those people or things like that, that's where my head has been.
And just to let you know, those are ongoing conversations that I have had directly with object.
The department's going better than it ever has before, 100%. That, I don't know, about 10 years you've been working here. But I think that's one of the first phone calls with planning and zoning, that if someone's gonna build entertainment. So
I'm comfortable with adding that to the plan. Rest of the commission, yes or no? Shannon? Yes? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for thanking me. Okay, that's enough.
I'll pay you later.
kicking butt.
All right, kind of looking at the next two strategic areas, parks and rec housing, I know there's quite a few items that was already come with that, the splash pad or converting like properties and their active sectors, these areas that need to be added, removed.
Community's still pushing pretty hard running an outdoor pool. And the splash pad will be open soon, of course, it's gonna be fall and winter, must be ice skate on it. So I would like to see that one still kept. And, city manager, what you talked about, 1, 2, 3, 4, bullet point number 5, where we talked about the nerve. We tell, talk about the new legislation, understand, is that
Right.
correct?
That's correct. You know, we've had several conversations about recreational facilities at Herb, which is WMU's old wastewater treatment facility. But I did pull up this email that I got, that legislation did change at January.
Do you have a caterer or something?
Yes, I do. 902 KAR 10-127. This is section 5. Bullet point 2, it says the beach or watershed used for recreational purposes shall not have been used as a part of a municipal sewer system, including a sewage overflow reservoir.
So that's why we didn't drop the nerve project because of state law. Is that correct?
That is correct. Doesn't mean it can't happen somewhere.
Correct.
It just can't
Yeah,
be.
you should.
Or we can talk to Senator Elkins about grandfathering us in because we were in the planning stage before the legislation.
Well, this is an email coming straight from our Rebecca Gissing, our public health director,
And they just passed this in the last session, I think, correct?
and I think she's gonna support this legislation.
Oh, has it passed or is
It
it?
did, as it took effect January.
January.
Okay, so we need to either get an exemption because we were in the planning stage before. And be grandfathered in. Or get that legislation changed.
Well, they just put it in, I'll keep saying changing it yet. but-
Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff they're gonna change that they adopted last year.
Well, it could be something that it's looked at a little differently than like a swimming situation and more, water activities. Yeah, cause I think, you know, this has been a large point of conversation is the quality of that water and a little muddy response, no pun intended. Cause you're the king of puns. But just, I get what you're saying. I did want to backtrack. I didn't speak up quickly enough. Sorry, on quality of life. I'd be interested to see a little more concrete, background to increase downtown and community events by 10%. I think it's hard to say like what's 10%, what's downtown, what's a regular event, what's a special event. Maybe it's something like 8 new events per calendar year, you know, peak season.
As you said downtown, and.
Yes, it would be something in partnership with the park. But I'd like maybe to revise that just to be a little more concrete.
Any suggestions or think about it?
Oh, we can think about it for sure, so I don't want to overload and.
I just say increase the, don't get if you start about. Once you put a number on it,
Percentage on it.
a percentage on it or a number on it, you schedule 8 new events and 6 of them are rained out.
Well, sure, and that's a unique situation, but maybe it's something like in the peak season, which I would assume is like April through October. You could have. 5 40 events.
Or you just wanted to say increase downtown and community events annually? Do you want a number off?
I don't know, what do you all think?
Because.
Why don't you put a number on things, you're locked into it.
Well, I mean, this isn't like we're gonna, you know, if you don't have 5 events, we're done.
You're not.
No, but I think just a little more guidance.
I'm sure that it's not full. Okay. You know, you're gonna have Thanksgiving, we have a Thanksgiving break? No. Never had Christmas, or probably never Thanksgiving.
Will you be the turkey? Go, Joe.
Probably be too tough.
So clearly there's like a downtime. Do you think a number is way too much? Like even if it was like 3,
I think it depends on the number, yeah.
Sure.
So when I'm over here like cringing at the thought of 8, like.
I get that, because that'd be 1 a month and that's a lot.
Yeah, but like you said, like add 2 new events or something like that, I think, that would be reasonable. But then, do you have to continue to add 2 new events every year, or will that change? So, I think that's something to consider as well, because you want the quality of your event. As if you're planning too many, and they're just not good events.
Sure.
Or you're stretched too thin, that's not really meeting your goal of quality either, so.
So that point could be updated to just say add more or new downtown / community events, and we could list some examples.
Can I offer some wisdom of years of watching Ed shovel horse after horses? Well, maybe the city should incentivize private groups to organize events. Instead of we incentivize the city to organize more events.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, I don't want to box us in, but I think support. the event. That's why, if it's like your event, your Graftober event, or Pride Festival, the kid you just mentioned, or something like that, you know, we just need to support that in some way, but not box us in. To that, so.
You see, like, I'd like to see somebody do a 4th of July parade. We're the only place around here. that-
I'd love to see a movie night. I think we all probably have.
Or it could be extended all day at Lights Park. You can just do a Oak Carmen Public Park.
Yeah.
4th of July or something like that. But we used to have a monthly city event. We did, it was a mess, it was a fiasco, everybody remembers. But like incentivize the different organizations to do that, but they're gonna know better anyway, they're in the community.
So how do we incentivize?
We'll feed off of like, we get an amphitheater, there's the perfect place to add, do events. Or maybe do a play or do some of our infrastructure projects will help with us. Bringing us, how do you work for it?
I'm not sure, I just think that, collaboratively, I like what we're saying, if we're not sticking to anything too concrete, maybe listing ideas or opportunities, but I don't know. We've got this huge project downtown and Depot Street's looking better and better all the time, and, you know, the parks are doing all kinds of activities, and I just think something a little
Okay.
bit more.
How about this? A support and actively, actively support, additional events in the downtown and other parts of the
Downtown
community.
So I guess we need to maybe make it clear that is one way or not, because fiscally, I don't know what we can do. So we need to maybe make sure we're not saying we're giving money to.
Right, and
events.
when you say support, it could be public works support.
Yes.
It could be fire, police support, you know,
Yes.
support looks different.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Can I also note that I would probably include like evaluating your current events and like how to improve on those as well. So just, because a lot of them have been the same for years and years, so how can we modify current events to better suit, you know, our needs or our desires? So just like an overall look at your events in general.
Yeah, I think I like that. Evaluate and reestablish. Develop, there's a lot.
Evaluate, yeah. How do you evaluate?
Community events might think be its own strategic area, a lot of conversation about.
Yeah.
Of course, I do agree that it is kind of a quality line, but it can certainly be its own strategic area. Issue. Besides that there's a lot.
Okay, speak up.
That would allow us to put it quite a few different areas, options for the city. I'm not big for ourselves into good about big, whether it's specifically a number or specifically what kind of city.
And state it again, John, how would you state it?
It'd be a list of options for how the city can be a part of or help to facilitate the different downtown and or community events and options like that.
Breaking it aside from quality of life, as a strategic area, making it sense.
So we can recognize that it is an element of quality of life, all keep it on a separate area.
You know, have the order outside of this. Community city events, so instead of 7 street areas. Or we would want that.
It'll be downtown or community events.
It's all damaging.
Not to jump ahead. But under downtown. Good amount of that is completed. So we could almost merge what's remaining of downtown and that concept of downtown community events. I don't know, I'm not a professional on this,
We've done all.
but you know, we've pretty much done,
Every one of them.
yeah, shuttle service and grocery and of course the enforcement.
Well, we
which
had
is-
those things, that's.
Right, right, I guess, I don't even know that we need.
But it's halfway
I
back.
think
Yeah.
for downtown grocery, we have an address and they continue to strengthen enforcement of ordinances, but we actually have, because remember, just a few meetings ago, we updated the abandoned blighted property ordinance. So we are,
but that's why we need to concentrate on downtown groceries, future.
Well, we have that tonight too, yeah.
You know, we're gonna reestablish the historic preservation.
exactly, if we see something, we're coming back.
Whatever you think, whether it's its own area or just a bullet point, whatever you.
We,
Well, I would love to have strategic vision from you guys about what you want in my role. So, I mean, if you guys have other ideas that you think you should execute in the next couple of years, that helps me to understand what your vision is for them.
so do we wanna make it a separate, strategic area, or do you, they will do it?
I mean, there's no reason we couldn't have another one, right?
There's not.
Whitney's saying she'd like direction, and she's the person to make that comment.
So make that number 8,
We make that number eight, if you all want to,
or like Anna said, 5 says it on 10.
yeah, we can maybe
And-
focus on those items underneath downtown to, the distribution area.
That'd be good. And then we are gonna look at this again right before we upgrade, update. Right, before we make copies and that kind of stuff, and then we want this. And we'll have a chance to review the whole thing. And we'll get home, you know, something like pop in our mind that we, well, we should have said that. We can send things to John. This is your plan. It's not Tennessee plan. It says.
Yeah.
Everybody comfortable so far?
Yeah, I hope, man.
Any want to add something?
I'm sure. I'm so excited about the continued strengthening the ordinance for downtown, because now's the time to do that.
Yeah, I have from downtown, strength enforcement, kind of entertainment district.
That's
And the grocery stores.
The entertainment stuff.
Might be
And
good to,
district does-
I would have to use
that
that
have
some,
the Ruining downtown grocery,
educate.
downtown shop service as well.
I don't say that, because I know one person had a lot of confusion, during year sheets. But that might not need to be in this, that might just need to be. But they were confused with how it works, so I don't know if, but that might not need to be.
That'll go away.
Yeah, it could just be maybe there's powwow session with one of those downtown business meetings, and they review it again. I just think if there was some confusion on one person's part.
That leaves us with safe city and education workforce training, last two items. Anything within those two that are, still ongoing and need to be removed. Any of those items within those, strategic areas that we need to be expounded on and on their strategic areas.
We did the second, well, that split the EMS and fire department.
I feel like the third one falls more under number 7.
But going back to that second bullet point, can we decide that we're gonna keep that in there because of facility? Or, right?
That was the discussion about,
We've done the first part, we've done the facilities.
Right, okay.
I need to talk to Homeland Park Service.
And the compensation study has been completed, the last bullet, that's done. And I've been talking to Chief Thompson about increasing the bike patrols.
How many bikes do you have?
We have 4 now. We've increased that quantity since this, but we just gotta get increased staff to be able to utilize them more than what we do. But I mean, we're utilizing as much as we can.
That's what determined in the drug spray. Always gonna be not popular.
We're pretty needy. Chief's a little more needy than I am. Love you, buddy.
The educational workforce training, any of those items need to be changed, modified in a way.
So do we think that should move to education and workforce, the one that's related to BCTC? under State City? I mean, it could go either way, really. But, I mean, I know we're talking about more opportunities through the high school to BCTC, I imagine as well.
Yeah, I think you can understand it better than where it is, don't you? Is that what you're saying?
But even though I think the idea was for city employees, like the paramedics.
I see what you're saying, I see what you're saying.
You have to do that, but I think it
I
could
gotcha.
happen anywhere.
I got you.
The EMT classes, those are available to the outside.
What did Shelley?
The EMT classes that the fire department and EMS that they do that's available to the public.
Chief, would you rather see it under Safe City or would you rather see it under education and workforce?
Probably education and workforce, because what we've done is we've started teaching our own EMT basic, but as well as an EMT advanced. And just recently, we conducted our first EMR class, which some administrative staff for the PD, our department were able to take. So those are all really, really good advantageous things that we can do in-house.
Okay, so we want to remove it then, guys, from Safe City and put it under education. Bruce, how
Why-
do you feel about this?
Why don't we put it under both?
Kind of redundant.
Whatever, trying to could have done that. Other things before, but there should be no overlap.
The commission speak up, where you want it, two places, one place, which one? No.
Let's put it under both.
That's the question. All right, and then on under 7, on the last bullet point. The only progress we made in returning to joint planning with the county is we had restarted the EMS meeting. Or working committee, was supposed city and county. And we are doing joint planning with the schools at least once a week. And going to events and planning and meeting and doing those kind of things. So we're really happy on the school, but not so much on the county. But did you all agree with that?
And I would say that we need to probably remove the head for preschool. I'm just not sure where that would fit in right now. Mr. Howard is.
I've had a conversation with Mr. Howard in the last 2 weeks about that. And they have discussed it at the board, and the board is not wanting to move in any direction right now. They're not waiting to see.
So should we remove it from the Parks and Rec as well?
I think leave it in there because, you know, this is not next month, like.
I'd love to see the
This
library.
is long
The
and,
library wants a section here.
Well, I guess I meant the,
well, there's a church after it too.
And then I don't think BCTC is culinary.
There's not.
They are going to focus more on welding, industrial maintenance. technical work.
So we need to go back to the first, are we gonna keep it there for now? Or
Well-
do you take out commercial kitchen and then parts of it?
Mason has, maybe, MCT, or what it is, they have a culinary program that's in that service. And I think they would, if Ryan Coral would allow it, they would come over here teaching.
Well, I think every option's on the table, but I don't know if that's something we want to focus on. We don't, I would like to focus on high wage, high demand jobs. Culinary is not really a high wage, high demand.
So you're saying take out where it says a community commercial kitchen, take that out, maybe Parks and Rec, and leave the rest of it?
Well, I would just take out, I'm on page 8, but it's BCTC culinary programming. That's what I'm.
Take the whole thing out, yeah, yes, I agree. Commission,
yes.
out. And then go back to Parks, and Joe reads the hand, but that's something possible.
Yeah, that's something that they want it.
Three of us have been on that board and we all.
Yes, they do, they never want to go down.
And let it read, evaluate, see if so, you know, it's just, they aren't, and the approval comes out, they're no longer there. to be used as a space for parks and rental space for, and libraries, the library's interested too. So maybe we need to add parks, public library, or.
There really should be a multi-use.
Well, I do the work.
Yeah, multi-purpose, multi-purpose, multi-use. Okay. We good on that?
I do have something, sorry. The first bullet point on 7, support entrepreneurship in the city. I'd like to just see something maybe a little more detail oriented. I think there's been a discussion about the possibility of generating like a letter or something that can communicate to potential businesses what programming the city provides, such as the DGIF, or what the industrial park has going for it. Maybe something like support entrepreneurship with an informative collaboration between the city and IDA. So that if someone's shopping around and looking at potential locations, we can present, here's Winchester, we're great, and here's why we're great, and here's what we can provide, and here's what's already provided, and just. Yeah, that conversation, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay.
Whitney Fire, I've already had that conversation with Jennifer later.
So that could be, I mean, whether it's just emphasizing that.
But you know, one of Brad Sally's goals too, is to have an entrepreneur center. Yeah. You do, I've heard you talking about that, so that we downtown, so.
Or maybe even part of that.
I think that's another item, we could add bullet points underneath that, different options, so we could pursue or.
I had a very specific option that the city can pursue that I do not have time to see through. But if everybody remembers, we used to have SB, what was it, SBC, Small Business Development Center on Main Street. Facilitated through the University of Kentucky and Wall, and the original reason we bought the academic building was for a small incubation project collaborative with the University of Kentucky to provide entrepreneurial resources for startup business owners. Wouldn't it be great if the city of Winchester could take over the really lengthy go nowhere phone call for me and see if the University of Kentucky would still financially back opening a true small business entrepreneurial development center, similar to a continuing education school for people that are considering going into business. The one thing that we have in Winchester is tons of creative people, but there's tons of creative people that have a lot of money, but it's even more important that they have healthy resources available to make sure that their money is a good idea to spend it. The University of Kentucky has a grant program to open entrepreneurial program here, and something they would talk about, but I got lost at 200 or 300 hours of phone calls, and it would take a lot of listening. But if you want a very specific way of how do we help entrepreneurs, education, and give it a really good one. The University of Tech has a program where they tell us to do that. They used to be here. I miss it. It was great. I could go there all the time.
Well, maybe Joy, we could put that on a future agenda. And University of Kentucky big contacts from Adam and let them go and talk to us. You know, do that. See what it would take, but how it would involve the city, if there's any financial impact. Here. Let it.
Yeah, they were, it was great. I really don't know why they left or what the reason for the freaking bring back in.
You all comfortable with that? Put that on agenda, just put it on a work session. Right, thank you. Okay.
Any other items? Then we can move into the roll call stuff, which would be direct budget impacts. Previously, you all had about 9 to 10 of these, support figures out at grocery stores, stormwater, first responders. If any of those change, if any of those need to be taken off, they could be added. For those are just kind of the overarching ones that at the time you all were very, focused on.
Memorial dedicated probably the end of October, 1st of November.
Take that on.
Y'all okay with that? It be done, so. And the salaries, comp studies been completed.
Well, I was thinking that same thing, but that's probably the biggest impact we have on our budget, right?
It is, yes.
So I don't know if it's something to,
You wanna leave
Keep
where
on.
salaries is?
I mean, it's whatever you guys think, but I think it's,
I would say it
a huge-
needs to be salaries and benefits.
okay, I agree. I mean, cause I'm sure we'll keep looking at cost of living, pay increases.
Yes,
things
it's
of that
important
nature,
we
so.
give these guys a check, the most important thing. we do the cycle check to make sure they go to the doctor. It's their kids that are healthy.
Okay. Everybody okay with that? Salaries are good. Great.
And then we had the city budget timelines, we categorized these in terms of how critical / important they were for the city to get completed. Then we also added a budget year for these items to begin, if there's any expected budget year for their completion. We have a few pages of these, and I think they're these built out on different timelines for this immediate and more further into the future. So how these items changed, and others will be a few on here that you guys have completed. Any items that are still ongoing, if it was taken off, anything like that.
Like I said, take off the compensation study.
Compensation, the last one of the critical, yeah, so. We are working on stormwater, we're in the process of doing, an asset management inventory now, currently. So we're working on that. I'm gonna interpret public space as clean, safe, funding, I'm not sure.
We have those as annual consideration, so some of these items you all determine what quickly we're gonna be yearly things that you're gonna take a look at for the foreseeable future. So if those items are still in that kind of mindset, that we'll keep those as it.
Convert dilapidated properties into affordable housing, that's ongoing. Competitive salaries for first responder personnel, we worked on that really hard. First responders needs, is the city manager mentioned a while ago, got GRW is working now on plan for renovation of Station 1 and upgrading Station 3.
That's ongoing.
That's ongoing. Prepare for future needs where, that's ongoing for police and fire and public safety for facilities. But, you know, the, state office building, basically, we're gonna make a decision within the near future, we hope, as to where they're gonna put the new building downtown. Maybe, or how big it stays downtown. But that may have a lot to do with what we do with some of our facilities. So we'll kind of wait and see on that. And then Hannah still is taking care of compensation study. Y'all jump in here, please.
Thank you, Rayla.
Under critical, starting with, the roads, completing current road work, you know, we're completed Jackson Street, completed Fulton Avenue, and that will, I think, it's been almost on.
That will include on.
We have completed the last one in that box, Western Bed. That one comes off. I think the first one under the second page there is ongoing. You've got to have as much work as, my work does, and I'd like to see it. Pick up that employee. I don't know how to do it.
They're busy as I absolutely can find, and I'll work the fire out of here doing something all the time. For somebody, I agree.
It'll be an employee dedicated, just.
Here, before I don't say that.
And then, the work of the private sector to explore and implement second chance employment. There's been a little bit of discussion about maybe using some opioid abatement dollars there, but that's something we're gonna have to discuss on a different day as a commission, but that, I think we're legally there on one part. On down the list, we have done established entertainment district downtown, that's done. Constructive Veterans Memorial downtown, that'll be done a few months. Increased police and fire, the city of fire, I know just hired, I just graduated 7 recruits 2 weeks ago. So we have done that. I think Chief Thompson could use another officer with the ED. Next page. 5 down, maintain and improve grants, we now hire full-time grant writer for the city.
Yeah.
Some of these are redundant. And then on the last page, I think see what we missed. I think we need to know, except for maybe a feasibility study for the trail system. It's been proposed that we do a feasibility study with Lexington, Irving County government. For the trail system from where it was Brighton,
Right, that Brighton Trail, that Lexington.
Brighton Trail,
Actually, to,
and it goes all the way to really deep.
yes.
So, that's something we might want to consider taking a look at. Some point or take it off, whatever you all want to do.
I think it's good, and I think we've accomplished something we didn't even know was possible with the Boone Avenue
Yes,
project.
it's correct.
So,
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, on my list, I just had, Boone Avenue improvements. I think, once we see that small, pilot program, we can expand that. Maple Expressway improvements, so ongoing road issues, that's just ongoing.
Right.
We've talked about parking garage, there's a lot of hoops to jump through for that, but that's, maybe something that we could pull on Depot Street. City Hall renovations, still think we could utilize third floor a little bit more, the current space that we have, and that would help optimization, efficiency for our city budget. We talked about the fire station, new police station. The other thing I would like to see is a sports complex.
So this
Property, get better.
I have one right there on Lexington Avenue, it's been vacant forever.
There
Quarter acres, had it listed. There's a house there, I don't know whose house it
there were
was.
people up there yesterday surveying.
Oh, really?
Yes, there was a survey crew up there yesterday.
Someone approached me with the dream of that being soccer field, I didn't have
Yeah.
the money individually to do that.
Right. And then there's another individual that is looking at property out at the corner of Mount Sterling Road and the bypass across from Congress about a combined indoor outdoor thing there. He is talking about the person that everyone in this room will know.
And I think another thing we discussed as commission at some points, maybe looking for land for a new fire station. We may end up, depending on how it goes with the state, we may send a police station. Depending on what properties are required or demolished or left standing, we just don't know, it's a big unknown.
4 to 5:30, so.
And then we talked about continue mapping our stormwater.
Yes.
And keeping that, so, and I got a red ink on you. I just think we've done a really good job. What we've done, and this plan has been invaluable, that's just, it's kept us on target. And we haven't wandered off too far. Any comments on any of the issues that you think have been?
Well, we also need to approve items 2 and 3 on the agenda. Because we did.
Yeah. But is there any more comments on strategic plan?
No, I think this is exciting. I'm gonna do it.
Any questions about exceptional for me and Sarah, we took time over today with our offices and work with Pat.
Thank you all.
I would say that's important. Are many cities doing this?
Thanks, yes, but as far as I know, not the fall, or enhance. Strategic plan, or no strategic plan, so close to. One just completely.
We want to keep going.
I'm the momentum.
Well, the one I can think of is Hazard there, we just completed, or we're about to complete their second strategic plan, and they're doing that off, those conversions.
Which we're still calling ours a strategic work plan, and there's a difference in the verbiage, I think, with work plan.
Yes.
And I think we're working. We're trying hard to bring things to this community that have been brought to this community before. We're trying to enhance a lot of the things that we think are working in this community. And in our decisions, touch, we all lose sleep at night sometimes. So the things that are going on, but I think we're all in this and we know that we are better. And, you know, what people say or don't say about it, we are working hard. And I appreciate all of it. Very much, very much. Let's go back just for a second. Sarah and John, y'all can thank this, I want you to just be in our minute.
But if you're, yeah, it's like you're gonna run.
Minutes, let's go, down to our minutes from June 3rd, 2025 special 4:30, July 15th, 2025 special 4:30. Regular 5:30 and July 17th, 2025 special 9:30 a.m. meetings. Is there a motion?
Okay, Commissioner Tool and I cannot motion or second either, please, because they're all together and she was absent one meeting and I was absent the other.
I'll say.
Seconded by all in favor, aye.
We can vote either.
Aye. And you opposed by like sign, motion carries. Item 3, departmental and agency reports, we'll need a motion there, unless there's anything anyone wants to highlight out of those items. Okay, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, like sign, motion carries.
Motion to adjourn the fourth meeting.
Go ahead, Mr. Item 4, informational items. This is for information only, and I just want to point out 4A that WVU did receive a grant for $2,700,000 for sewer improvements. And this is huge. So they now have the money to do this project. And then we did our work session. So is there a motion to adjourn the work session, and let's take a 5-minute break and go into regular session.
I made the motion.
Motion, second for Commissioner Jewel, for discussion, on that, aye. Any opposed, on that side? He's over here.
Yes, yeah.
Everybody else did fine. UA is called that.
UA.
Unauthorized absence.
Okay.
So we should.
It's okay to me.
No, is there anyone else who wants to sign up to speak? Very much. Thank you, ma'am. And I'll be looking for this. I'll get it. Okay, if everyone will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, will be led by Commissioner Joe Chenault, followed by our invocation from Chief Thompson.
I pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here tonight to conduct the business of the city. We pray you be with the commissioners as they make decisions that affect this community. Please be with the city staff. Please be with the citizens of this community, especially those that are suffering and in need. It's in your son's name we pray.
Amen.
Everyone will please be seated and we'll officially call the meeting to order. Sorry, we're a little bit late starting, but we had a good workshop with strategic planning this afternoon. Let's go down to new business. And if you'll notice on the agenda, we have a city county EMS discussion. And all of us have been receiving texts and emails and conversations about some things that have been on Facebook. And I've asked the city manager and the treasurer to address those tonight, line by line, which we're going to do, and clarify and be sure the correct information is out in the public. So I'm going to turn it over to you and Alicia at this time.
All right, great. I'm gonna let Alicia start with the budget portion of it, and then I'll fill in with the rest.
So I wanted to kind of talk about the way that we budget, the way that we bill, and what the county that they receive, because I think that that's kind of gotten a little misinformation. It's gotten has been posted. So I wanted to kind of talk about that. And I know that this is not a new information for the commissioners, but for the public. This kind of gives them a rundown of what we do. We do have two separate budgets, one for fire and one for EMS. So that was one of the questions. Do we? I know we combined the accounts, or do we leave them separate? And we do leave them separate. And there are two different assistant chiefs that I'll work on those on budgets as well. They work on that. I'll get the fire chief. So when the commission they approved that budget, it got approved this year, and I sent that information. I send all pertinent county information to the county as soon as possible. So they were sent the budget numbers and all county related expenses on May the 28th. So that included EMS, dispatch, because we all have a joint agreement with dispatch as well. We have a pool payment for the pool at College Park, a floodplain coordinator, and the fireworks. Those are joint agreements that we have with the county, and we made sure that they knew about all of those budgeted amounts prior to the first reading of their budget and the Alex City's budget as well. So every quarter I pull a revenue report and an expenses, and I send that to the county. So the revenue we receive is from our ambulance billing service. They collect our payments, they deposit it for us, and then we notate that in our revenue side of our budget. And then the expenses, like I said, we are it is a separate from the fire budget. So the expenses, we call it Department 28. It's an EMS. So I pull the report for the quarter for that on the budget as well. I take out anything that we already get a reimbursement for. So we have an incentive pay that gets awarded to some of the staff, based on their other training status. So I'll take that out because that is actually a reimbursement to us from the Park Commission. So that is something that the county that they do not pay. And then once I have the revenues out with the expenses, I send them a sheet of the revenues, take out of the expenses, and then they pay 39% of the deficit of that amount.
Okay, would you repeat that? What's the percentages again?
39% of the deficit.
Okay.
So we take out, I take the revenues, subtract out the expenses, and they pay 39% of that amount. So that is how the budgeting works. They are a separate department. Keep all separate expenses. There are some expenses that can be split because they are splitting the location. So the EMS, they're housed within our within the fire departments. So if they need something within that department, then it is you may see fire and EMS. But it is a strictly split between the departments. And I did have, I don't know if you have the copy of those one, okay.
Yeah.
The county, requested at the last. I joined a committee to do a budget, like deep dive, basically, I wanted to go line by line on the budget. We did invite them to our budget sessions. I made sure that they knew of our budget sessions. And so our budget is already, it's already completed. And whatever, it was approved by this commission. I did make a, past 3 years of expenses and then this year's on my budget. And then kind of did an explanation of what those line items, how would they include if it wasn't strictly salaries or something like that, that was already explained. So I didn't know what direction the commission wanted to go within the discussion of the budget. Is this a sufficient representation of what we would like to send to the county for the budget discussions? Since our budget is already completed and approved.
Commission, and you're talking about it at the next EMS meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
I think this is great information and added.
I mean, it's a comparison of 3 years. And just because we have a budget doesn't mean we spend that budget.
Right.
And I like to know that, like, if you get a contract, then you're going to pay with the contract. What contract is it? What contract? How the price is for the budget. We spend get up to that budget.
Mhm.
And if we were I need to exceed that, I'll need to come. I need to come to the commission, and I would need to go on to the joint committee as well, so they were aware, so they would know that it was affecting their budget.
And Commissioner Strode and Commissioner Toole serve on that along with myself. And are you all comfortable with that information?
Yeah, I
that
think this is a great
provide?
tool.
I think
Yeah.
it's a good breakdown.
Efficient information, I think it gives,
Yeah.
for someone who's not used to looking at our budget,
Right.
being able to kind of see a little bit of a detail.
Yeah.
And it's all transparent. I mean,
yeah.
it's, I just handed the newspaper.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, yes,
So,
it's all information
Yeah.
that is readily available.
Right.
I have a better, I'll put on the website. Not just yet, we will very shortly.
Commissioner Chenault or Commissioner Cox, you all satisfied with that information
absolutely,
being
yeah.
discussed at EMS?
Yeah,
Commissioner Chenault, you good?
I mean, I think we're all on the same.
I mean-
page that our budget is complete,
Mhm. Good job.
so that's
You've done a good job putting all that
that I
together.
could,
Mhm.
that I would think was best. I've heard from the committee on what they would like to see yet for that meeting.
It's their turn, and so the
Yes.
public knows we alternate meetings. The city hosts at one time, the county hosted the next. And the county had been asked numerous times to come, and it was their turn to actually pull together a meeting, and it didn't happen until Diana continually called and sent emails and said, we really need to be having a meeting. So that's how that comes about. So it was not anything to do with the city. The city calls their meetings when they're supposed to. So I want to clarify that point.
I do think it's over. I like talking about that. Yeah, I think that the city manager, I will be addressing it, which I think, will be addressing it. That, it was stated that they received these numbers up. In June. In June after the budget, after it was already completed. And that was not true.
That's not accurate.
We've got documentation as to when all of that, occurred. Even our budget sessions were. I open it up to the public as well.
Okay, does anyone on the commission have a question for Alicia? Okay, thank you very much. That's taken a lot of work to compile that, so thank you.
The flip there, This right here is, just a snapshot of what Alicia sends to the county for, the billing process. She sends this every quarter. You can see that this is the first quarter of 25 that she sent. She, details out all the revenues that come in. She details out all the expenses, calculates the deficit of that, and then charges the county the 39% at the bottom, every quarter.
And detail out and back on sheets as well, like those are just a reconciliation of what I do on the back of sheets, and they get that as well.
Yeah, so it has line items on there to
Yeah, it's
actually.
all of the line items that came out under those expenses.
She provides that every quarter. Yeah, and next slide. So during the budgeting process, like Alicia said, all the joint, shared expenses she sends over, but this is the one that we did send over to the county. It details out, the general fund expenses of how much we're spending total for EMS. What our budgeted revenue is gonna be, that deficit, and then the county portion is gonna be $968,370. So that is what we budgeted, and then we sent that over to the county so that they would know. Now, capital expenses, their portion of the capital that we approved as a commission to spend for EMS was a total of $1.2 million. But the county's portion of that is $491,665. So altogether, that's about 1.4 million, but I think it's very important that we don't lump that in, because I think general fund expenses are very different than capital expenses. In fact, I'm going to show you, I think on the next slide, this right here. So if you look at the data that was given out, this is over a 3-year period. The general fund from 23 to 24 did increase 29%, but from 24 to 25, we only budgeted and increased it 6.9%. And then this year was only a 2.34% increase in general fund. And that's recurring expenses that happen every year that you can kind of build in and you know what's going to happen. So when the county says that they've got all these increases, I think that's kind of a misconception, because really our operating did not increase, but about 2.34% on EMS this year. Like I said, capital is a little bit different, because one year you could spend a lot on some items, the next year not. Maybe you deferred some items and brought it back. So we have had the last 2 years that we've invested a lot of capital equipment in, bought some buggies, and we've got some things on order. And we've made that commitment as a commission to be able to do that. But I think that is a little more fluid than just the general operating that we've been going through for a long time. So general operating has really been steady. It's not increased. There's no surprises here. And we've communicated that. In fact, I know that the county is having some budget issues, and we're willing to look for solutions, because we are committed to this community, and we want to make sure that we're providing great services, not only to the city, but our community as well. So looking at the difference of the general fund and the capital, my recommendation would be to go ahead and keep, and if we go back a slide, Zach, right here. If the county can come up with their portion of operating, which is $968,370, then we as a commission went ahead and approved to expend the full amount, the 1.2 million, on the capital items. That's coming from our bond financing that we currently have right now, that we can use to buy that. Our EMS agreement says that any capital items that the city purchases stays with the city at 100%. So we've already approved 100% of the expenditures on that. When we worked on the budget, we brought in the revenues of the county portion, but we did not build in the revenues for the capital expenses on that. My recommendation going into the EMS committee next week is to work with the county and say, if you can come up with your 968,000, then that will, and then the city will pay for the rest of the capital that we've already approved. And I presented that to the judge to see if that was an option, and I think the judge is willing to work in that direction. So if the commission approves to move in that direction, then that'll be a focus of discussion at our EMS meeting coming up next week.
Any questions so far?
Now, a couple more slides, please. So there was some, a letter going around on social media, and I did call, Magistrate Craycraft. I said that there were some questions that came up with that, and we wanted to answer some of the questions in this letter. If you saw that, and, Magistrate Craycraft, did have a commitment tonight, so he wasn't able to come. But I do want to go ahead and say, point out some things. This letter said the accusations that members of the court support a move, and we're talking about privatizing EMS, is erroneous and appear to be politically motivated. These statements do not reflect the facts and only serve to undermine public trust in our governing process. I'll tell you exactly where that came from. At the July 8th, 25 joint EMS committee meeting, on the agenda, the Mayor Reed asks Magistrate Pasley and Davis and Judge Yates, quote, if they are really seriously considering privatizing the EMS services of the county. If you are, we will continue this discussion. And if you are not serious about doing this, then we will take it off our list. But is the county seriously considering privatizing EMS, end quote. Magistrate Davis responds with, quote, I think it's fair to hear a proposal from a business that's already operating here, end quote. And Magistrate Pasley also responds with, quote, we got to hear it, end quote. We need to hear it just because the kind of money that we're talking about. So they are talking about it. It was not politically motivated. They actually said that they want to hear it and think about it. Next slide. The letter also said in August of 24, reviewed by the state auditor revealed that the city of Winchester had miscalculated its 911 billing under the terms of the interlocal agreement, resulting in $160,000 overpayment by the county. This discovery raised significant concerns about the accuracy and transparency of financial practices tied to shared public safeties and service. Well, first of all, the auditor is not involved in this at all. We need to clear the record. State auditor has not been looking at any of this. In fact, a review of the city budget came from Alicia, our finance director, and she found the error on our side, and we notified the county of $134,928.93, and this was related to 911. It was not related to the EMS billing at all. This error was corrected, and the city provided a check on April 30th. So we fixed it, we found it, we were the ones that found it. State auditors are not involved in this process at all. All right, next slide. 1 month later, in September of 2024, the county received an unbudgeted bill exceeding $500,000 for services related to the interlocal EMS agreement. This came without sufficient explanation or prior coordination, creating a serious unexpected strain on the county finances. In addition, EMS spending has grown at an unsustainable rate, 57% increase in just 3 years. Well, that was the previous slide I said, that really operating has only increased from last year to this year 2%. Now, capital can fluctuate a little bit, but that fluctuates every year depending on the needs, what you buy, and you don't need it next year. But Alicia does a great job of sending out a detailed explanation. No charges are unexpected. Nothing is without documentation. So we're not sure exactly what they're talking about here. In October, the city invoiced the county $451,000, but this really doesn't exceed the $500,000 that was mentioned in September. And I think there's one more slide. Then in June of 25, the county was presented with another request for $500,000 in conjunction with a sharply increased EMS budget. These repeated demands, especially when they arrive outside of the budget process and without detailed justification, prompt a simple, critical question from the county and its taxpayer. Why? Well, in May of 2025, at a meeting of the fiscal court, I myself went to the podium and presented the fiscal year 25-26 EMS budget to the fiscal court. This was while they were doing their budget process. It was before it was approved. And I presented the document that I showed on the screen that had the breakdown of the general operating and the capital. There was an opportunity for discussion at that, and I was willing to answer any questions, and there was no questions at that meeting. So on April the 16th, the city invoiced the county $292,698.92. I'm not sure exactly what we're talking about here. Here. So we just wanted to clear those up, answer those questions, make sure that we set the record straight on that. Any questions?
And I do want to point out, again, that the city's percentage of EMS is 61%, the county's is 39%. Every run made in this community is a county run. I live in the city, but I also live in the county. I pay city taxes, I pay county taxes, as does everyone sitting up here. So I just want to be sure that's understood. And we wanted to present this tonight because I think this commission is really tired of inaccurate statements, and we want to work to clarify those and correct the inaccuracies when we can. Anything else? Any questions?
Should someone from the county be here to see this tonight?
I did reach out to Magistrate Craycraft, and he was not available to come tonight.
And I talked to the judge
And I told
in
him,
my office a while ago.
I told Magistrate Craycraft that I'd follow back up with him.
Are you wanting us to present this at the next EMS committee meeting? Commissioner Chenault?
Well, I think somebody from the county should be here. Somebody should,
I
where
don't disagree.
they can verify what's going on and they can respond to what we're talking about.
And Commissioner Chenault, it's listed, just like you're saying, it's listed on our agenda. Everybody gets posted copies of this, so that we were going to discuss the EMS tonight. And we were just basically reflecting or reacting to Steve Craycraft's comment where he put Magistrate Pasley's comment on Facebook. And we just want to clarify the inaccuracies because there are quite a few in there. So, anything else?
No ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on to new business, continued B, Downtown Development Investment Fund eligibility area modification. Whitney Leggett, I'm going to ask Whitney to come to the podium, who is our Strategic Communications and Downtown Development Director, to address this issue. Whitney.
Good evening. So this question arose recently from a prospective business owner downtown. They discussed having had discussions about modifying the DEIF map prior to my being hired. And so I agreed to look further into that for this person, and in doing so, discovered that the original order, in my understanding, read as if the TIF district should have been included. We ran this through the city manager and the city attorney, and then ultimately took this to the DEIF board, who agreed that they would like to see the map modified to not only include the historic overlay district, but additionally the TIF district. Currently, obviously the question would be, where would that funding come from? The committee acknowledged that there would be a necessity for additional fundraising. Recently we secured $30,000 from the Beer Cheese Festival Committee that will go directly into the DEIF fund to help with current grants and future grants. And I'm currently working with Alicia Martin on a grant application through the Clark County Community Foundation to further supplement that account. And the committee has already been brainstorming other ways that they could support the fund financially as well. So after the committee's recommendation, we wanted to bring that to you guys and get your consideration on the matter.
Okay, any comments, questions?
In the map from 2017, the blue map, I guess that's the earliest one. It looks like, and this is probably before it was built, the property next to Station 1 is included, and it's still included.
So
That's the bank, right?
Yeah, so there are absolutely some properties that would not qualify for DDIF grants within the map. Obviously, like a bank would not qualify
Sure.
for a grant of that matter, and the committee would take that on a case by case.
Okay. Just want to point that out.
But
Okay.
that property has historical significance with the old, I think it was the American Legion that was
Oh,
there. So that's why it was included.
Understood. Okay. Thank you.
And so the maps that you guys are seeing, the blue is the TIF district. The green is the historic overlay district. That's what we've currently been operating off of, is just the green map. I worked with Steven at CGIS and he combined the two maps, which is the purple map that you guys are seeing in your packet. I think this opens up the opportunity, as I stated in my submission, for more businesses and property owners to benefit from the matching grants that the city's offering. As you see that already, since the grant program was established, the city and its fund assistance from like Clark County Community Foundation has awarded almost $200,000 in DDIF grants. And I think that the businesses are eager for these grants when they're starting new businesses, and the property owners benefit from them as well. So.
That's amazing. That's good.
Any questions, comments? Do we need to take any sort of action?
Yes, ma'am. I think a motion and approval of this is necessary.
Joy, we can take a motion even though it's just under new business, correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Strode, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Toole, any further discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, item 3, resolution, Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the City of Winchester, Kentucky, authorizing the completion and filing of a Government Resources Accelerating Needed Transformation Grant Program of 2024 project application for up to $827,436 in grant program funds with the Cabinet for Economic Development.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Toole, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. And I do want to say, our grant writer Alicia Martin is working diligently every day on trying to bring more grants to this city daily. So I think we did the right thing bringing a grant writer in.
We did.
Item 4, ordinances, first reading, A and B. Madam Clerk.
This is a summary, a joint ordinance of the City of Winchester, Kentucky and the County of Clark, Kentucky, amending Article 6.12 Downtown Business B2 of the Winchester Clark County zoning ordinance, establishing text regulating first floor residential dwellings within the B2 zoning district.
Is there a motion?
I'll move it.
Motion by Commissioner Cox. Is there a second by Commissioner Strode? Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 4B.
This is a summary, a joint ordinance of the City of Winchester, Kentucky and the County of Clark, Kentucky, amending Article 8.6 Development Plans of the Winchester Clark County zoning ordinance in adherence with Chapter 100.275 of Kentucky Revised Statutes.
Is there a motion?
Move.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, 5 orders general, and those are A through I. And you will see we do have an amended agenda on item I. Madam Clerk.
An order accepting the resignation of Elizabeth Morgan from the Winchester Clark County Planning Commission.
Is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Toole. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item B.
An order appointing Preston Albritton to the Winchester Clark County Board of Adjustments for a 4-year term.
And this will be his first term.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item C.
An order appointing Gary Taylor III to fill the unexpired term of Elizabeth Morton on the Winchester Clark County Planning Commission.
And this is a replacement for her from her resignation.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cox. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by the like sign? Motion carries. Item D.
An order approving an agreement with Summers, McCurry and Sparks PSC for auditing services.
Okay, is there a motion? Come on, guys, we need an
So
order.
move.
Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. On item E, I will have to ask Commissioner Cox and Commissioner Chenault to excuse themselves, recuse, please, and state your reason.
I will be leaving because I am a member of the Habitat Board and we will be the ones building the 6 houses on Lincoln Street.
I am leaving because my wife owns property, so I'm going out of LA.
Don't go too far.
We'll get you right back, guys. Okay, Madam Clerk, item E.
An order awarding a bid for asbestos inspection on properties in the Lincoln Street CDBG redevelopment project, phase 2.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Toole. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Strode, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Chief, do you mind to bring them back? I don't think Joe's had time for his LA, but.
Didn't make it feel.
Make it-
You get to LA?
You gotta be faster.
I can get another one of those little miniature candy bars. It isn't enough to really satisfy anything.
Item F.
An order approving funding from the Downtown Development Investment Fund for an upper story residential grant at 24 North Main Street.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item G.
An order approving funding from the Downtown Development Investment Fund for a new business stipend grant and a Kickstarter grant for a business located at 5 Cleveland Avenue, Suite 202.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Toole. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item H.
An order approving a Land and Water Conservation Fund State Assistance Program separate deed restriction for the Eugene Gay Splash Park.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Toole. Any discussion? And we will be opening the splash park in about 2 weeks. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item I
And
has
order-
been added to the agenda because we are closing out the Jackson Street Bridge removal. And we had a very nice ribbon cutting and event there yesterday, and the neighbors are ecstatic. So now, sorry.
An order accepting the Jackson Street Bridge removal and water line relocation and making a final adjusting change in the amount of $46,033.95. And this is a city change order number 1.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Toole. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 6, personnel orders 6A through G. Item A.
An order amending the position descriptions of police and communications.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Toole, second by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item B.
An order reclassifying Sarah Miller Communications.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Toole. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item C.
An order reclassifying Montana Mural Communications.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Toole. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item D.
An order accepting the resignation of Steve Hamilton, crossing guard.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Toole. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Chief, Are we okay on crossing guards for school getting ready to start?
Hire these next two coming up, yeah.
Okay, that'll take care of everything. Will that take care?
Yeah, we'll probably still get a couple alternates if they come along, but that'll take care of it.
Okay, great. Okay, item E,
In order employing Andrew Miller to fill the position of part-time single role EMT.
is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault, second by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item F,
An order employing Palmer Warner and Clayton Warner to fill the position of crossing guard.
is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion?
Got a question. It has a pay rate here of $20 an hour. Don't we pay them by the day,
It's about, you know.
by the hour? Okay, forever it was by the day.
it's been
Used to
about-
be.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Just,
Okay. Answer your question?
yes.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item G,
An order employing Stephen Day to fill the position of HR director.
is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cox, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion?
We shouldn't have put him at the end. He's sitting here. We should.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. And
It's gonna
Mr.
have-
Day, would you stand?
Yeah, he's gonna have to.
Would you stand up, please? And I believe you're taking over on August the 11th, on Monday.
Yes.
Welcome aboard. We're glad to have
It's the
you.
10th. Monday's the
Wow,
10th.
the 10 officially.
Okay.
That's the first
Whenever you-
payroll, but.
Right.
That- yes.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think you can do that yet.
This says the 10th.
No,
That sounds-
no,
August the 10th.
you can't do that yet, not yet.
Doesn't it? say-
All right, let's go to item, can't see from my folder here. Item 7, comments from the general public, and let me see what we have on the list. Chad Walker. Come forward, please, sir.
Come on down.
Good evening.
Well, I guess the simplest place to start with this is, we're here because we're being refused to meet with.
Well, that's inaccurate to start with, but go ahead.
100% accurate.
It is not accurate.
Okay, all right. What date do we have set for our meeting then?
Whitney, what date?
Said we, as a downtown group, have been trying to meet. What's that date?
That's the group.
I don't know. I've asked when that date is. When is your next meeting?
We don't have one with you.
I didn't say with me. I said, when is your next downtown meeting?
We just had one. An impromptu one on Monday.
How can we come if we don't know when it is? And don't
You
grin at me
don't-
like that.
Yes, ma'am, I can grin out.
Uh,
This is a private group. This government has no jurisdiction over what we do privately.
Well, nobody says we do.
Okay, then why do you want to be invited? Whitney has been
Well-
at every meeting except for the very last one.
I'm being told that we need to come to a meeting. John Paul's told me that. Different ones have told me.
This is where we're going.
So here's the point. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong, that we said when Mr. Dykeman is in town, we will sit down with whomever in that office in there and talk, but we will not meet without our attorney present.
Okay,
Mr. Dykeman, are you in the ceiling?
I am.
Okay, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I think there's been question about some legal issues. So yeah, that's correct.
I don't believe so. We've not mentioned anything legal in our emails. All we're asking for, and you and I have had this conversation in your office. Our downtown group- I'm
What do
sorry,
you
Ed,
want? What do you want?
The same thing we've always wanted.
What do you want
I'm explaining to you, you have to let me finish before you hop in there, okay?
specifically?
I'm telling you, now let me finish. What we
You
want,
calm down a little bit, Chad.
what we want. We feel
Is
bad.
that how all of you feel back there? That the city's doing a terrible job?
I didn't say city's doing a
No, I'm
terrible
just
job.
asking.
I didn't say that. You're putting words in our mouth again.
All right, Chad, you go ahead, say whatever you want to say, and we want, just don't anybody make any comment until
That'd be
he's
great.
finished.
What we've asked for years. I was on Main Street Winchester, I was on Winchester Fur, I was on, when they transferred over. We have been trying to get together and say, you guys are doing marketing for our downtown. You don't consult us in any capacity. There's holes in this whole high side thing. We came in good faith and met with you, John Paul and Amanda Adams, and we haven't had any response. And so what I'm saying is, what does it take for a group of individuals that have all rallied together? This is after Main Street went away and after Winchester first went away. We've done this on our own to get together and have a conversation with this government on how we can progress. That's what we want ultimately. And I can go through the list of things, and I can go through all grievances and things like that. But nobody will talk to us. Nobody will have a conversation as a group to say, here's the agenda. And the only reason we met last time was because we threatened to call the news, because you guys would not sit with us. And when you did, that was back April 28th. It's been dead silent until we sent an email today saying, we'll meet with you, Chad. But Mayor Reed will be there, city manager will be there, the attorney will be there. I mean, it was a list of people and me. And that's it.
I don't plan to be there.
Sorry?
I said, I don't plan to be there because city manager will meet with you and Whitney.
Okay.
And if you want me there, I'll be there.
We've asked for that. And that's
So-
what we're still asking ultimately is, how can we sit down and iron out some of these issues that we're having? And
Are you going to tell us what the issues are?
I can. that's
I would
fine.
like for you to tell us what the issues are.
All right.
We can all take some notes.
Right?
Wait a minute, I'm getting my notepad. Wait one second. Okay.
There's been multiple conversations about TIF funds. I know that me personally, as when we were operating at Engine House, we received a one-time disruption of $1,000 for one day because they closed the street, and that was only the business, or only the restaurants. There were multiple other
And I believe
locations.
that was done when Mr. Flynn was here as city manager.
Correct.
Okay.
And yet we're told over and over that we've got DDIF money in place, which I've already brought once before here, that amount ends up being $12.50 a day for a business that's open for 5 days a week. That's massively inefficient. And we should be able to, and we were also told, and this is something that we brought up here earlier. How is it that we're told that we can utilize the entirety of Beer Cheese Festival funds when it just got put into DDIF?
And I cannot answer that.
The entirety of the funds is not
How much was total?
for this year, $25,000, but there's more than that in the achievement account. Right.
And the beer cheese committee helps direct where those funds go to.
It's city funds,
But the beer cheese committee,
so they got final say that.
Mhm.
So whatever they decide.
they have input.
No, I didn't ask that. Do they have final say?
I think, they have input. Now, I don't know about final say,
Okay.
but
So
they
again,
have.
city money. Okay. I'm not sure. And this is something, since we're talking to you, this was something that our group came up with. How many years ago did we get off Main Street? And the Main Street logo is still being utilized by Kentucky Main Street Program. And our group, that was one of the items we came up with, was let's go ahead and peel that off the logo. And I did what I'm supposed to do. I do my buffer and I go through Whitney, and we're told you don't want to do it. You wouldn't draft a letter saying, let's go ahead and peel this off. We're not part of that program anymore. Why would we possibly, as our downtown, want to be affiliated with that?
Well, that's the state program, and they have to make a decision to
And
take
I was
that out of
told, and
their
I
logo.
relayed this as well. All we need is a draft letter saying, hey, guys, we're not part of this program. We haven't been part of it for a while. Let's peel that off. And you said, no.
I think it's fine the way it is, in my opinion.
So I guess that would be a
I
question
think
for
it's,
commission.
I think it's really promoting Winchester. I mean, even though you're not a part of the program, you recognize Winchester in there, and that's great for us.
What do y'all think?
What are you talking about, Chad, peeling it off of what?
As, again, this is part of our group. This is just me.
Yeah,
There was a conversation.
I'm not
Kentucky
understanding.
Main Street Program is the overarching program for what used to be Main Street Winchester.
Okay,
We haven't been part of that program for years.
correct.
And Again, we tracked down, how can we get off this? We don't want to be affiliated with it. We didn't want to be affiliated with it when you guys voted to continue on. Then a year later, you peeled off Winchester First. Now it's gone away altogether. At the time, we sent a letter saying, hey, we're not part of this program. It definitely depicts in the logo
Send a letter to,
to the state.
okay.
And they said, no, it's going to take somebody
I'm
locally.
not aware of that, to be
Understand.
honest with you, so.
But it's going to take a local official to say, we're out, you guys are out of the program. And so now we're still part of that logo that is promoting for Kentucky Main Street program, and we're not part of the program.
They're still using a picture of our downtown in their main logo, which I think is fine. I mean, and like I said, when I see it, I'm like, oh, I'm glad Winchester's on that logo. It looks nice.
But I
Even though
hate to
we're
do
not-
this, but I have to agree with Chad. If we're not part of it, we shouldn't be on there.
There's lots of places that we could put our pictures of our downtown, and probably you guys at least would be offended by. And that one offends me because we don't want any part of it.
And if
Do
you
you
all,
have-
if you all direct, that you want that removed from that, I'm fine with that.
We made the decision. Chad and I were on there together. We made a decision to give up Main Street. We definitely did, Main Street program.
Well, if he doesn't want to be on the logo, let's just vote.
Well, that's what I mean. I agree with you too.
Is it on their main logo? Is the part?
So Main Street, Kentucky is a picture of Main Street, Winchester.
Well, it's a collage of a lot of different.
No, it is downtown Winchester.
I'm just gonna pull it up.
Oh, is it
Downtown
only?
Winchester.
I couldn't remember if it had, I thought it had other ones on.
So what does it
I should look at
require?
it before we
Chad,
go
It's just
What does it
our-
require? What does it require? A letter to the Main Street program in
That's what I'm
Frankfurt?
told.
Just to say we are no longer part of Main
Yeah.
Street. Please remove this photo.
Yeah.
Is that
Or
what you're
if it's a
saying?
check for you,
There you go.
isn't it?
Like that.
The downtown business.
Okay, let's take a second and let's take a motion on this. We want to remove it from the Main Street logo and notify Frankfurt that we are not in any part of that.
Yes, I will make that motion.
A motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tool. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. Motion carries. That will be done.
I guess there's so many questions about downtown. There's marketing going on for downtown, and we're not brought into that conversation in any capacity. There is, like I said, the TIF thing has been going on forever. It's a collaboration where we're basically putting, it's a savings account essentially for, well, what it is now for the city. But we're putting in monies into properties that are, the increment is put into account for utilization. Why wouldn't we be brought into how much that amount is, what's it being utilized for, things like that? This is all just a once or twice a year conversation. And said, you and I had that conversation in your office that time about why don't we
We
do that
did.
every Christmas?
We did.
And it never has happened. And I think that more than anything, that this group wants, from my government, I want fiscal responsibility. I want transparency and I want fairness. And I'm not feeling that right now. And this is the reason this group shows up tonight, is because we've been petitioning, we've been asking, we've been begging, we're in the dark on so many things. I'm gonna have a conversation with us. We'll be your biggest champion if the information is relayed. So right now, we have no idea what's going on, and you've got businesses closing left and right. You've got buildings for sale more than this time last year. I'm having to fund the majority of it myself, of going in and doing these infrastructure projects, like I paid for a Main Street website. Okay, that's gone. Now we're paying for a downtown website. We are privatizing what used to be Main Street Winchester / Winchester First. And we need you guys to listen to us. And that is the biggest hole in continuing how downtown works, in the biggest project and the biggest detriment that this downtown has ever seen. And to come out the other side, it's going to take a little bit of collaboration on your all's part. I want you to hear from the
But
rest.
Chad Whitney has been to every meeting, correct?
Yes.
With you all, okay?
Okay.
I'd like to hear from the other people that are here.
Absolutely, that's what I say.
Well,
Thanks.
Thank you.
I've got a suggestion, Mayor.
Well, we've got some people who still need to speak. Go ahead.
Okay.
You want to say it now?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
What's our work session agenda for 2 weeks from now?
Joy, what do you have anybody lined up?
I don't have anything.
How about 2 weeks from now at 4:30? Got 2 weeks notice for everybody and anybody you want to tell that the work session we do is on Main Street.
I'm fine with that.
Chad, you,
It's the rest of the gang, the close.
James, Laura,
Has to do.
4:30 is good.
JP,
Let's do it.
Amanda,
James,
if you need me to, Amanda, I'll go over and run the store and listen to my phone,
well, then
okay?
she'll be going out of business.
She won't go out and do this.
If you run the store, she will.
So
Okay,
what are we gonna do? Have a work
work
session?
session.
Yes.
And what's it, invite the businesses in?
Yes, it's basically the
Do we have
downtown.
a name for the group downtown,
Downtown Business Association.
like a
We'll
DBA
give the-
basically?
With the we'll meet 4:30. We'll have 3 minutes of agendas and things and minutes from this meeting and stuff, and then we'll have a full hour that is just downtown business.
And I would,
And you guys, anything you want to send us to prepare us beforehand, anything you want to bring with you, you bring one and we'll make the copies here.
and if you wouldn't mind, this is an additional suggestion, you don't have to do it. But what would be nice is go ahead and you've got the files on it, on who to contact and stuff, send out a letter to everybody down here. We've already gotten 2 letters from code enforcement related things, the entire downtown. I don't think it would be that difficult to alter that to, you know, guys, we're having this on this day.
We can do that, can't we?
We can see later, I guess.
Yeah, there's no problem.
I would say to everybody that has a business license and everybody that's a property owner.
A downtown business license.
Right, a downtown business license and downtown property owners. And please inundate us with this information beforehand, so we don't have to digest all of this at one time.
Do you wanna say if they can contribute items to the packet to get them to Joy by the Thursday before?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thursday before it.
Our next meeting is, what's the date, Bruce? It's
the date ought to be the 18th.
18th, 19th.
19th.
Yeah, it's the 19th, so the
So you
Thursday.
need it by when?
Thursday, the 14th at noon, which is next Thursday.
That gives everybody enough
Gives everyone
time.
9 days.
Laura, James, JP, Adam sitting back there asleep. Would somebody wake him up?
Okay,
Okay.
commission, are you all comfortable with doing this? Want to do this? I have no problem. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Y'all okay?
Huh?
Okay.
Well, say something real quick about the group and how it started.
Not yet,
Okay.
only because they're not on the list.
Oh.
Okay, we good with that? Everybody got the date, the time, location? Okay. And we'll just put our tables back like we had for our strategic planning and sit around and discuss. James Bowman.
Hopefully I can ease the tension a little bit. Really, I just wanted to come up here and discuss about my experience with the High Side project so far. I figured you guys would know that this is coming, seeing how it's on our side now. But the biggest issue that I had with it was the very first day that they started busting up our side. I didn't even find out about it until 10 a.m. that morning when I got a text saying that they started on it. I was like, great, this is awesome. You know, I didn't know about this at all. And, you know, I couldn't really change the fact that that happened. But the biggest issue was that day. And then the next day, we got so many phone calls about like, hey, are you guys still open? Like, we can't get to your door, blah, blah, blah. Even though they could, they just saw all the construction and stuff like that. They didn't know any better. So that was a really big issue, because I think there's a misunderstanding about the value that some downtown businesses bring
I feel like, just because there's multiple downtown businesses down here, you can kind of get like a figure in your head of like, hey, that business does X amount of dollars a year or whatever, like you can kind of gauge the scale of their business based on the look. I will say that those 2 days alone, on average, we lost $1,500, and we were still open. It was literally the first day in 3 years that we made, less than $100 in sales. And when this project first began, and I, was speaking with Whitney about the DDI upgrades and stuff like that, and she told me that it was going to be $250 every 3 months, I was like, okay, like I can see the value that at least the committee sees that we bring to the table. And, the $1,500 that really hurt a lot. And then not only that, whenever they poured the concrete, I did work with Jesse McCoy on that, and I will give him kudos. He definitely helped us out because it seemed like they were kind of taking their time a little bit. And they were pushing it into the weekend, and we had 2 really big events happening on Friday and Saturday. And those are going to be like huge money makers for us. And thankfully he got him to do it on Wednesday, and we at least had a section poured for people to still come. That was awesome. But when the project first began, I did a little bit of my research, and I did an open records request for the contracts, the RFP, the proposal, the whole 9 yards for this project. And I did that because I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but I actually used to be a project manager and a facilities planner for the federal government. So I was, wanting to look at the details of everything. In looking into the details, I did notice that the city had a lot of $1.1 million to the fund for this project to go on. And I know that the city only had to put up $697,000. Now, I know that there's $412,000 in what's considered other funds right now. I heard that a couple weeks ago. And I had a meeting with Bruce, the city manager, pretty much the day afterwards, and I'm super glad that he accepted a meeting that quickly. I appreciate that a lot because there was a lot going on, and I was like, I need some answers. So when I brought this up to him, I basically wanted to bring it up to you guys because obviously hearing that we lost $1,500 just in the 2 days, we did lose more because we actually had to close when they were pouring concrete in front of our door and stuff like that. But my biggest question is, I know we can't touch those funds until the project is complete because we could go over budget, stuff like that. I guess I want to know if the city council had any sort of plan or possible, restitution to the business owners that have been affected by this with that money. Because $250 over 3 months ain't gonna cut it. That doesn't even pay for
That's an insult.
Right, and that's the way I took it. And I know that they meant well by it because of the budget that they have. And that's why I really looked into the budget for this project, because I wanted to know if there was any additional funding that could be provided to us. Because, 2 businesses have already gone out of business, 1 have already changed ownership because of the financial strain. And, this project, yes, it needed to be done. When looking at the proposal, it's not being done the way it should be. And that was my biggest concern from a project manager standpoint, is because, we're the customer in this case. We dictate how the project goes, and the plans are set in place for a reason. And the plans, if they were going to plan, would have created the least economic impact for the downtown businesses because they were going to do it in sections. And the minute I saw them bust up the entire high side, I was like, okay, something's not going right.
Yeah.
And, when I was speaking to Bruce about that as well, there needed to be somebody from the city side telling them, Palmer Engineering and the Allen Company, hey, you need to go buy the proposal because that is what was approved. So I know that Palmer Engineering is kind of like steering the whole thing, but at the end of the day, we're the customer, and those plans are set in place for a reason. I understand that plans change, but if plans change, then there needs to be communication had with all the business owners and everything. It even says in the RFP as well that the businesses are supposed to have access to the front of their businesses throughout the whole project. And obviously we've seen that's not the case. And from a federal standpoint, there's a lot of regulations and stuff like that that need to be followed. And that's why the proposals are set in place and that's why they're approved. So when something doesn't go to plan, it's like, hey, it's a make it or break it thing. You either fix it or we cut the contract. And I haven't seen that from the city perspective. And that's why I was kind of concerned about the issues from a legal perspective because they're not following the proposal. So I say all that just to express some of my concerns. But my main question is the $412,000 that's left over at the end of the contract, you know, at the end of the project, once it's completed, that money's now available. Is there any sort of plan to give the business owners any sort of restitution for the loss that they've had this year?
Will that money be the city's?
No,
I
it
don't-
is not.
I think that,
That 1.1 million that that is our portion of the grant was financed. So it's not city money. So it's, you know, not available of afterwards to go toward the project. Of course, we're still waiting on the project because that might not end up having that amount done after the project either. So it's still flexible right now, but we finance that amount. So when we pull it down, it's just that we only have access to what we need for the project. And then we just don't borrow the rest.
It's like a line of credit.
it's like
Right.
paying the bill as it comes.
I understand that.
Yeah.
In the budget, it didn't stipulate that. So
Yeah.
And James, I'll tell you, we did not know. My understanding, and I think everybody up here's understanding, was they were gonna do all the high side, complete that, and then move to the low side.
Right.
And I came in one morning to the office and came in the corner and there wasn't a sidewalk, it was gone. That's how I found out the sidewalk had
that's
been
the
moved.
biggest issue is lack of communication.
And we
And
put
the
Jesse on
proposal
this
is-
full-time, you know, and his full-time employee, just been his, every day, he stays all day.
Right.
Up and down to try to keep people informed, and nobody's trying to hide anything, we're not trying to not be transparent. You know, my parents taught me better than that, you don't do those things,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I
and
didn't think that was going on.
Well, and the proposal was that they were supposed to do sections at a time.
That's
And
correct.
leave it, and they did, I think they need to be assessed a significant fine
100%. That's what we would.
in the high six figures for not following the contract. And because we are gonna have to go back there and fix some of their non-handicap compliant parts.
I don't know what's going to be non-handicapped compliant.
The part in front of Amanda's building down there, all the way to the end of the street, it is not the slope that is allowed by the ADA. That slope is 1 inch of drop for every foot. And the angle of that is not consistent from that. I was told by a person from the Allen Company, but we're allowed to go by the slope of the street. But if you read the Americans with Disabilities Act, it does not say that.
I think all of our engineers and architects and even the state has approved this and it meets all the.
Well, somebody will file an ADA
They
complaint
approved the
immediately
proposal,
after it's
correct?
done.
What's that?
They approved the proposal, correct?
Right, and I don't think any of that's changed out of the proposal.
Well, it's hard to say whenever they're just kind of doing whatever they want though.
put that on the list for the next project update with Allen Company, let's find out.
Yes.
Well, seeing how the $412,000 is not ours, is the city willing to provide any sort of restitution on their end?
We have not discussed that at this point.
Right,
Yeah.
Because we don't know what we have left.
I understand that. I'm
And
just
but-
trying to look. for
Understand,
some sort of
understand.
recoupment, because, you know, downtown businesses, it's not like we're making money hand over fist, and a lot of times it's just kind of like, you know, day to day, like, are we going to make it or not? So.
And I have intentionally, and I think some others have made it my intention to go up and down Main. I've spent a lot of money on the high side for Christmas presents. I'm through my Christmas shopping because I did most of it on the high side.
Right.
And, you know, we're in this, you know, we just got to keep going and get it done. But I'm sorry if any inconvenience for anybody. I'll apologize for the Allen Company. I'll apologize for the Palmer, whomever. But, you know, you can't put in new sidewalks if you don't take the old ones out first. And that, you know, and that's kind of been you know, my thinking, how can we how can we do it without taking it out? And we can't. I mean, that's just common sense and you know that.
Yes.
So, okay.
I just know with better communication, you know, we could have planned around it to where like hosted some of our events at like another shop or something like that.
And to be honest, James, you know, we hire the contractors and we trust them to do what we hired them to do.
Don't do that.
And, you
No,
know,
I wouldn't trust.
but,
No.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, we think if they say they're gonna do A, we expect them to do A.
Right. Yeah, they definitely need to be micromanaged a little bit.
So, and that's why Jesse's been on scene most of the time and he communicates all day long. So.
And also James and JP and Amanda, and Laura and all of you. I would love to be able to say this is a pot of money we've got for you, but also under no circumstances am I going to say, okay, show me your book so I can see how much money you lost. Not, well, I don't care. That's none of my business. I don't want to know that.
I do think
And I don't know of another way to equitably distribute funds.
Well, that's exactly what
you know.
Like,
Right.
I'm willing to give up my books.
Well, I mean, but a lot of people aren't.
Well, if they should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right.
Transparency,
You're right,
yes.
James.
Yeah.
You're right.
So-
And an auditor would be all over us.
Right.
So,
That's why I'm fully willing to do that.
Yeah.
just a minute.
But yeah, that's all.
Okay, I hate to say this, but you've passed your 4 minutes, but, but thank you.
It's money.
Probably.
We're gonna have.
And we're gonna look at ways
We're gonna have to make.
too. Kitty's got some ideas and, you know, we're looking at it, I promise. Okay, Laura Freeman?
Chad was talking.
Oh, I didn't hear him. I asked him to wait just a minute, so.
That's all business owners that, you know, we work with, to count days that they were unexpectedly closed or there wasn't communication. And I think that some sort of daily, just on those days where nobody knew it was gonna happen.
Including us.
Yeah, including you, but especially then. I don't think that it would be impossible. I know that we all know that there are funds that could be used, that we're not talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars. To compensate the businesses where they showed up and couldn't access their structure. I don't think that you can pass out $10,000 for a business up and down Main Street just because. But if they can quantify it, there were days that none of us can go on.
Yeah.
Understand.
Including you all.
Understand.
I agree.
Laura?
Hello, guys, and you all know I'm Laura Freeman, and I think you know I own 2 buildings in downtown. I also own a couple of businesses which are growing and are really gonna be something. In fact, Ben right now is in Pennsylvania, getting our new beef product in Wegmans. I mean, it's gonna be some serious growth. But my first point, but I think y'all probably also know personally that my husband had dementia, and so I've been kind of out of commission for a couple of years, and he's now talking to hood. I've had my shoulder replaced, and now I'm committed to getting involved in downtown. So I've been part of this downtown business owner group since December, our first meeting. And it's been obvious that the first problem is lack of real communication. I mean, we don't need more text, we don't need more newsletters. We need to know, you know, I mean, you get there and people going off about the TIF money, the 400K, you know, and that's what happens when people don't know the facts, is that they make things up, and they think the worst, or they suspect things. And so the only fix to it is like communicating, what you just proposed, and it's correct. Then we all sit down there for you. And then we need to be able to, you know, get meetings with whatever person in the city it's relevant. I mean, the finance manager, the business manager, the mayor, whoever it is, but you know, not in some scheduled thing, but when our group feels like we need it. Right now, I can tell you right now that last night we were on Zoom and we talked about the TIF district and the TIF money for probably 30 minutes with very few facts. And I went and asked my AI afterwards, and it knew more than we did, which is not saying that there's anything wrong with us. It's just saying that we're operating in the dark. I think we all want to, look, the community won't work if the downtown isn't vibrant, growing, people live in there. We all know that. We're all trying to do the same thing, but some way of working with this business group. I mean, when I met with Bruce and, and we talked about spinning the business group off, and we've done it. It's spun off, and being able to use it to answer real questions, and then come up with a plan to work together, whether it's a 1-year plan, 5-year plan, something like that, is I think where we need to go. And then, okay, that's into that. The other thing I want to make sure you all understand is that I have been flooded out 3 times with no compensation. 3 times. And I'm looking at roughly $100 grand in damages. And I haven't sued anybody. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. The Allen Company denied it, WMU denied it, on and on and on. I'm getting done notices from ServPro. I've got mold in the bottom floor of the building. It's infrastructure stuff. And until you had to the high side to replace infrastructure, you had to. And look, it's a ski slope. It'll never be anything. We all know that. But some acknowledgement and compensation. I mean, I've got to have compensation for the damage is done for infrastructure. Don't blame it on WMU. You all owned it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen the video of it was off a shoulder replaced of Allen Company broke the pipe and they put a bucket over it, took the bucket off, it sprayed water into the building for like 4 hours. Act of God. Or no, it's I mean, I'm sitting here, I can't charge the kids rent. The kids are in earn-out and they're doing great. But I can't, as a landlord, I can't get rent. I have to make other arrangements, handle a lot of damage. It's ridiculous. No business would come down here in their right mind. I mean, Ben wants to move to Hammer. I mean, he's begging to move to Hammer. So you all gotta understand we're not happy. And I just told you so. And we're having a meeting in a couple of weeks, that's good. But we've got to do something to make the businesses work. Which is really, and ultimately, we're gonna get this thing done. We need to have a big campaign to get people down here. We have no support from the community. And I mean, I've sat in that store for days. I've never seen anybody from Winchester. I mean, people coming from, Montgomery County, Fleming County, even Lexington. But, they're little community support, they all go to Hamburg, we know that. So how are we gonna change that mindset? I don't know. In short.
Laura, did I hear you correctly? The insurance was denied? I know you've been working with the Allen Company's insurance on that claim. Did they denied it?
And WMU's gonna say, I don't know what to say. But you don't have to shine.
I'm gonna follow up at our next progress meeting. And
Except
try to get some more
WMU
information.
WMU had a pipe. Well, if WMU has a solid pipe that goes down my yard and I hit the pipe and break it, it's not WMU's fault for having the pipe there. It's mine for breaking it. And Amanda's been flooded out, 3 times too? Okay.
Man, you've been flooded out twice.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, I go back to car wreck labs, kitty books, coal flushing in the basement. I mean, I'm trying to have a farm to have a restaurant with sewer there. I mean, then, I mean, 2 times this year.
Where are you with the WMU insurance
Oh, they denied.
They denied it.
Yeah.
And I'm getting done notices now from Serpro. I just got one. Like,
Tell them to send it to the Allen Company.
I mean, I've been telling them to send, I've been telling them to send it.
I'll follow up, see if I can get some more
Yeah.
information for that.
Yeah.
Should there, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's all.
But, and all of this information about what your costs were, what you were billed, what Amanda's costs were for the day she was flooded out and Perry's stuff, that all needs to be here. We all need to know that, you know. Huh?
And I am right now working with Perry to get his document together.
Yeah. I know.
But next week, this is what I'm working on, and so we'll have numbers.
Well, and like you mentioned communication. Whitney does a great job with newsletter and stuff, but if somebody's gonna break up the sidewalk in front of your store, they need to let you know the day before. Nobody wakes up at 7 o'clock in the morning and says, I think I'll break up that sidewalk today. They need to tell these people in advance.
But, I mean, we all knew, remember I
Yeah.
said that
We stood right at Kroger's and talked about that.
And, you know, nobody's gonna be down here in these conditions anyway, walking a little bit, we all knew that. We just gotta get done fast.
And it's gonna take years for them to come back because they're out of the habit of coming.
Right, now enough people have to come anyway.
Yeah.
I think Commissioner.
Well, I
wants to.
I don't know if this is gonna be worse, but don't we need to also reassess the corner at the bottom of the stairwell leading up to the high side that was supposed to maybe be more of a green, like, I mean, I literally mean the square that butts right up to close to your window. Was supposed to be something different than poured concrete.
I was
I think.
thinking of having a little bushes.
There was some drainage
Yeah.
issues, so we
And-
had to go as it was designed, but we can put some greenery in there, plants.
Well,
I mean,
something
we
to
can-
help with
Yeah, we
drainage.
can,
A little buffer.
but we had to pour it the way it was designed.
Back to the basement, Angela's been out there and I'm gonna pay him to replace brick and, I mean, you know, it's serious money, you know.
I need to come in. I walk by your store.
And these are
3
the
days.
things, Laura, that are gonna be good when we all meet in 2 weeks. And make a list. I mean, we need to know what everybody wants to talk about.
And the 1 hour work session might turn into an hour and a half. Might, because we can
Well,
adapt the meeting of.
Depending on how many questions we
Yeah.
get, we might back it
Yeah.
up 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we appreciate it, guys.
Okay.
So stay flexible from 4 on and then we'll see.
When we have the meeting, do we need to call Allen Company and Palmer Engineering in here?
That would be a
I
city
think,
meeting.
I think the next project meeting needs to be a.
That'll
We
be-
need to talk.
Well,
be this
well,
week.
I think before we address Allen Company and Palmer's, we need to do this downtown stuff and say, okay, this is where the downtown people are. Now let's go to the Allen Company and say, okay, guys, this is what we're confronted with. And we're confronting you with it now.
I feel they should at least be here to hear it firsthand, and maybe they get a speaking opportunity at the end, or maybe they don't get a speaking opportunity at all, but I think they should hear it from the horse's mouth.
Since they
Can
did
you
it,
invite
they
a
should be here
representative from Palmer and a
to
representative from the Allen
confirm.
But
Company?
I think you need to bring up too.
And that's on Thursday.
Exactly. Needs
They
to
got
happen.
this right, it's like a communication.
Okay.
We can,
He's not on the speaking list, but I think JP wanted to say something and I'm gonna allow that. Can you come up here, please? I know you're stretched out and comfortable, but
So like Jay said, previous life, but mine was in pipelines and infrastructure, project manager. This is not what I want to talk about, but all problems for us come to you. And if you need to do a change order, it goes out. Okay, you've got the push to say all these problems are happening, we don't individually, so. Unless I said you want to get involved in, but that's the way that. If there's not a land liaison or the property owners, building tenants, then That's what you gotta do, is use your push for this. And you get to say, you get the last say, and before any change order goes out, from anybody else, you hold that money and say, wait, give me just this next person.
And and this has been going on since January, and we have not received a change order up here to vote on from them.
Right.
Which means they are doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing, even though they aren't. And once I said significant fines need to be assessed.
Yeah, be really careful for that one big change order at the end. So.
We can always deny it.
That's right. Anyways, what I want to talk about was this downtown group. When we disbanded Winchester first, after it was Main Street Winchester, the biggest problem I saw was not having like a cross promotion opportunity with other businesses. So we started this group just to share each other's posts, do events together, that kind of thing. Sadly, it was around when it started with the high side, which made it an easy way to complain and want to get things done. But long story short, the other need we had when we lost the downtown Winchester, when Winchester first for Main Street, was that smaller group of people who could take concerns on from the whole community or downtown and then bring it to you guys. So since that doesn't exist anymore, there's got to be a normal meeting of some sort.
That's true.
So where anybody has a business or a building can just.
That's true.
And I think you'll find a lot less pushback or tense situations if that's an ongoing thing. Because people will know that they've got somebody's gonna listen to them. So, yeah, nothing bad, nothing like that, let's just all sit down together on a regular basis. Cause we've got one chance as far as I see to open this place together. Right. When done, we have to drive together, we have to do it together. And yeah, we all want the same thing, guys.
We do.
We do. We all grew up here. We want to see it be like it was. So yeah, we just need to do it at the same time and do it together.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Bruce, help me with this. I understand there was a question, maybe Chad can help me with this, about property taxes or whatever that you all had wanted to ask at one point. So Jada, our PVA, had sat here through the entire meeting to explain what can and cannot be done. So
Respectfully, we've already spoken with Ms. Brady, this group, and we've got all the answers we need. That's why we need to bring it up tonight.
So no one else has any further questions after we've invited her to come tonight?
Does the commission want to hear what the options are?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm always happy to come invited or uninvited to any meeting. So thank you all for having me tonight. I did speak with the downtown business owners just to clear up a few things that had been overheard or had been said, whether they were heard correctly or incorrectly. The biggest thing being that any person is allowed and welcome into my office to talk about their personal property, their business property, or any property that they have in Clark County at any point in time. I have an open door policy and will always welcome somebody to come in and talk to me about it. The assessments for this year was in quad 2, which did include the downtown business area. As of January 1 is when we do those assessments. So how the building stands, the house or other property stands as of that 1/1 deadline is how it's assessed. Now, this is not meant to be offensive, but when it came to this downtown high side project, it has been on the books and discussed for many years. So I had no idea when we did these assessment values and readjusted some values, whether or not this high side project was going to take place. Now I'm very grateful that it has taken place, but I think we can all admit that it had been on the horizon for a while, and there was obvious, thought there. So with that being said, the assessments stand. There was an opportunity in May, 3 weeks, to come in and talk to me about the assessment value. I tried to do them very as delicately as I possibly could, using assessment levels even as low as $2 a square foot, doing an income-based level in some cases, but whatever was best for the building is what we did. We did see some increases in the buildings downtown. A lot of that had to do with the sale of the buildings downtown. They have increased. There's been a lot of work done to them.
And we hope we can continue to see that. However, starting 1/1 of 2026, any property owner, including all of these downtown businesses, if they see that their assessment value is not in line with where their building currently stands as of that time, I encourage them and welcome them into my office to discuss their property value. Because we've heard about Laura's building, if that building is still standing that way as of 1/1, and I hope it isn't, but if it is, that would be an opportunity to talk to me about her current assessment value and potentially lowering it to make the assessment value, match the value as the building stands of that 1/1 day.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so there's a couple different ways that we can do that. It'll be 4 years if I'm blessed enough to have another term. Before I get back down to assess those downtown properties again. Of course, they will rise if it's sold. If there's a building sold, it'll go to that new price. But the biggest thing I wanted to clear up for them was that they are always welcome in my office to discuss those assessment values and how they were done. Do you all have any questions for me?
And you cannot forgive property taxes, correct?
I personally cannot forgive property taxes because I'm not the one that actually put the property taxes on the bill. That would be something up to you all. I have no knowledge of that being an illegal type of thing. That would be something that would be more in your arena. So that would, on my side, I'm not the one I just do the assessment value. I don't actually place the taxes on the property.
Okay, any more questions for Jada? Sorry, didn't know that you'd met with the group.
No, that's fine. Like I said, I'm always happy to meet with any group of people at any point in time, and I love a microphone, so there you go.
They meet with you. Do you feel that you need to bring that to the commission to let us know what's going on?
I'm happy to do that if they would like. That's not something that has ever standardly been done, and I meat with lots of groups and lots of people all the time, and so I haven't done that in the past. And my office is technically a state office, so there's no jurisdiction in regards to the council over my office. But I have no problem doing that if that's what is asked.
Okay, anything for Jada? Thank you. Sorry you sat here all this time.
Yeah, just go home and enjoy Mexican later.
Thank you.
That's where I'm going.
And while we're speaking about this,
As you open this door, can I follow up?
yeah, can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna ask the Downtown Business Owners Association, whatever, when you all meet, to send us a little synopsis of what went on, so we are aware of what you're discussing. For transparency reasons, is that?
Awesome.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that this wasn't just an issue on property tax. What we had brought up when we met on April 28th was any help you guys can give us in any capacity. And the city manager was there, Mayor Reed was there, Mr. Strode was there, amongst a whole bunch of other people. We had city engineer and all kinds of people. This wasn't just a property tax, and I don't believe that we asked for any type of removal of property tax. It was, is there anything out there? Can we do occupational license fee reduction? Can we do ABC reduction? Can we do anything to do with property tax reduction? And we were met with a resounding no, that's illegal. And so on our own,
I think Mr. Dykeman was there too, correct?
I don't recall.
I think he was. I'm gonna ask him in a sec. Go ahead.
Yeah, this was after the meeting. And we were informed that it's not legal to do that. On our own, we went out and spoke with 3 other PBAs locally before we spoke with Mrs. Brady, and they said, no, that's not illegal, that you can always, as a property owner, go in and petition to reduce it. And in fact, there's been other PBAs that have voluntarily reduced whole districts or even businesses of PVA tax based on whatever reason. I know that during COVID, that we had a $50,000, the city allocated $50,000 for anybody who wanted to come in and apply for $1,000 reduction. And that was following when I came up and asked you guys to forgive ABC licenses. He gave out $19,750. So it should be $30,250 left. Of course, we were the only one who didn't get the entire amount, but I guess that's because we weren't open long before COVID. So what we were asking in good faith was, we don't know this world like you guys do. Is there a place that you can reduce some taxes? And the answer ultimately is, yeah, you can. But we were told, no, you can't. And that's what's disheartening about all of this is we're looking to you guys to say, is there creative ways to come up with a way to help some of these businesses continue on? And we're just met with roadblocks nonstop.
Mr. Dykeman, would you address this and let us know your legal opinion?
You know, we've talked about this before. You can't defer. A city is not constitutionally allowed to defer taxes, to limit taxes. It's in the Kentucky Constitution. Can't do that. So,
well, how'd you get by it when you did it during the pandemic?
that was different money. It was special. You can't do it. You can't do it. I'm sorry. I mean, that's what PVA just said. You can petition in a new year if your property has gone down in value, but that's not the same as losing income from it. It's just not the same thing. You can't do it. I wish you could. I mean, it's just not available for a city to do that.
Property taxes?
No, we were talking about everything.
All Texas.
It did happen during the pandemic. I'm assuming because it's special.
But
I mean, I guess I get a little confused, and I guess this is how with the sport of the downtown outlying businesses, we can forgive late fees. And that wasn't illegal.
Yeah, you guys for code enforcement, they give fees out.
I'm not an
all the time.
attorney.
They say there's somebody's been billing $500.
That's a fee that was, that's assessed like for ordinance.
I don't know if a late fee is the same as a.
Bill?
But they're both
But like,
ordinance.
Let's let our attorney weigh in on this, okay? Bill?
Given late fees on occasion, and that's not illegal. That's something we've added by our ordinance. But the taxes that the city assesses for ad valorem taxes are part of what comes from the state and the county, and it's just not constitutionally available for a city to deal with the ad valorem taxes.
Oh,
I'm not an attorney.
I guess I understand. I think that's where we're stuck is with the PVA at least. We should have been told, yeah, we'll talk to the PVA. Instead, it was, no, that's illegal. You can't, once you get assessed a tax, you can't.
let me look at this.
Jada?
Yeah, I wanna mention, because income has been, brought up a couple of times here and kind of loosely related to the assessment value. Income is one of the ways that we can look at a business, as a property, to do the assessment valuation. So that is one of the legal ways that we can take a look at that property. I'm speaking specifically to property assessments, but that is a way that I would be happy to, and a legal way to do that.
And I guess I've printed this out. I'd like to read it real quick. It's a very, very short thing, I promise. But this comes straight from your all's webpage. And the question is, will there be any assistance for downtown businesses impacted by the construction? The answer is the city will monitor the impact on businesses. The city will decide based on recommendations from the city staff, what assistance measures are necessary. And then it goes into DEF, which we've all shown that ain't right. So I guess my question is, what are we doing for these downtown businesses? Again, we're close, so I'm out. All I'm doing is trying to advocate for a downtown that I care about. But what do we do going forward? It says right in here, all stuff right here, that you're going to monitor it and then make a decision based on those findings. It's been a long time. Where we at? That's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, does anyone, let's go ahead and do our comments, and then does anyone gonna have anything for closed session?
I'm going to send my closed session thing to Bruce.
Okay.
via email tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
And, we'll, you and everybody else can, you can disseminate it and we'll see where we are and talk about it. Maybe I'll come in late this week or early next week and we'll have a discussion about it and see where we are. Okay.
And what's it gonna be under acquisition? litigation,
Personnel.
Personnel
Well,
I
and
guess.
I was gonna ask for a brief personnel closed session
tonight?
tonight.
Okay, well, let's do
Okay,
it.
then let's do it.
Well, let's go ahead and do our comments and then we'll go into closed session.
Comments, maybe it's 20.
Okay, Commissioner Chenault, anything?
For the business owners, I hope you're leaving with a positive note. And I think it's like a communication. And I think that's something can be resolved real quick. And I think that will be. And on the other part, being on the park board, there was some graffiti that messed up the basketball court. It cost $400 to $500 to repair. And I probably will suggest to the members that if the vandalism people get caught, the fine will be starting out at $1,500 and go on up.
Good.
Well,
Good point.
besides that, they broke locks off the pool doors, turned over the Kentucky Westland sign that's been there for years. And they need to be caught and prosecuted.
Yes, any vandalism starts out at $1,500 if you just crack a window. So that's all I have.
And they need to make restitution.
Commissioner Stroh?
And restitution.
You know, I want to say too, I mean, I think we all are after the same thing about our downtown. We want everybody to make it and we want to be fair. So we're going to have to find some ways for you all to be compensated. I truly believe that.
Okay.
And Whitney and I know Beer Cheese talked about this. There's more money there that we might be able to come up with as well. I know we said 30,000, but we might be able to come up with more than 30 to help, and find a way to dispense that in a fair way to you all. I know it's not a ton of money, but it's a little substantial money to help for sure. And the only other thing I want to say real quick off the subject, I want to thank Public Works again for going up to the parklet and in front of Harper's and all and getting rid of all the weeds. And then code enforcement has been on the Harper building because it was bad. So Becky went up there and they got rid of everything in the back. We're still working on it. So as we get ready for festival, Brian will be working hard and so will the jail crew out because they'll be doing weeding and picking up trash and everything all over town.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Commissioner Cox?
Two things with these folks here. I will make every effort, and I know everybody else will up here to make sure it's done right. And you know, the thing was never done right. They didn't do it, and we can't make it right. We can't fix what's happened to your business, but we can do the best we can to
Not let it happen again.
do it a little bit, okay? Thing number two, this was discussed earlier in this meeting, and I will fight to the very end. I will fight tooth and nail with the last breath in my body to make sure that the folks in this community have an ambulance service, an EMS service that is trained, that is adequate, and is on the way 30 seconds after you call 911. And if we privatize the ambulance service here, that will not be the case.
And that is not gonna happen.
Do that.
Well, I know, but I'm saying, I'm fighting not just for the folks on Ashland Avenue and Windridge.
It's for our
I'm
whole
fighting for the whole
City
community.
and
I'm gonna fight for everybody to make sure that we have good to great EMS service. And not people like.
Good is not good enough.
Right.
Agree.
But like, there was a group unnamed, who is doing backup for an ambulance service in an adjoining county. And when they got a call a couple weeks ago about an incident at a house when all the county's ambulances were out on a wreck on the parkway, they were told they couldn't do it. They didn't have the manpower.
And that's not the first time.
And that's
So
not
we
the
won't
first
we
time.
won't get into that tonight. There's a lot
But
more.
whether you are in the city or the county or just driving down the parkway, I'm fighting to make sure that if you need an ambulance, yes.
Commissioner Toole?
I've got nothing.
City manager?
Yes, ma'am. We need to be thinking about Halloween events already. Can you
Oh, my
believe that?
goodness.
So I'd like to suggest Halloween be set for Friday, October 31st.
Okay.
Trick or treating from 5 to 8, and Halloween Mania would be from 5 to 7.
So move.
That's Main Street.
Main Street.
Assuming that the project's
Yeah.
done.
Well, we might have to switch it up depending on, but
Where we are with the
we'll
project.
have it downtown somewhere. Yeah.
Okay, is motion by Commissioner Cox, Commissioner Toole, you wanted to second that?
I did not actually.
You did not-
Sorry.
you did not
Ma'am.
second
I don't know
that.
how I feel about the city having Halloween Mania on Halloween, but I do not have kids and I do not have input, and
So you don't have a.
I do not
That's fine.
second it though.
Okay. All right, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chanel. Any discussion?
I got kids.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? I'm not hearing anybody say either one. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign? Motion carries.
What about Christmas parade? Can we go ahead and set
Oh,
the
my
Christmas parade for Saturday,
Slow down.
December the 6th at 6 p.m.
Wait a minute.
That's been pretty typical for Saturday, right?
First Saturday in December.
Hold on.
Oh gosh, he's looking at a basketball schedule, I think.
Yes. Would you want to have the Christmas parade the same time that Kentucky is playing?
Oh my
Could
gosh.
really care less.
Well, it's always the first
But that's
Saturday in
okay.
December.
They're playing the 5th in Nashville.
There we
Oh,
go.
okay.
I may not be back. I'll be at Bridgetown Arena, Nashville, where they play against Vegas, so it doesn't matter.
I'll motion for December 6th, 6 p.m.
All right.
Yes.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries.
See, I thought that's the day they moved the Louisville game to.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Only comments I have, I want to thank everyone that was involved in Jackson Street Bridge planning, implementation, helping put it all together, school system, everything. It was a great event yesterday, and the neighbors came out and they were very thankful and kept telling me stories about one guy told me when I was a little boy, I used to stay on the bridge over there and watch the George Washington train go by. And a lot of people had a lot of history associated with it, so it was great. Then I do want to announce that the Fulton Road ribbon cutting will be August the 27th at 10:30. We'll be opening the road. You'll be able to go from Professional Avenue all the way to the bypass. So that's coming up soon. So
Jay and Kim, who own the store there on Wynn Avenue, I went by there last night because they're a great young couple. They told me that they had their best day of business there yesterday in 5 months.
everybody's excited.
Because they
Good
can,
project.
folks can get across the bridge now. See, and
No bridge.
that's another business that was affected by a city project.
Well,
And
guys, I
that
guess we
delayed
can stop
expansion.
doing projects.
Yeah, well,
Just let the city go where it goes.
yeah.
I don't know if there's any project that's not.
Any
affects
project,
something.
Yeah.
all projects
All
are disruptive.
projects
They're
affect
disruptive to all of us.
Really do.
I'm gonna make a motion. We adjourn to closed session for personnel, chapter 61, 810F. And at the end of that closed session, we adjourn that closed session meeting and this regular meeting concurrently.
And that's,
Can we get going?
guys, hang on just a second, please.
I can go.
Mr. Dykeman, did you have anything?
No, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
3 minutes.
All right. All in favor of going into closed session, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? All in favor, go.
Let's go quick.
Quick, yeah.
You can come too.
How are you?